All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Welcome, everybody. It's Christopher Bilbrey. This is the Political Spotlight. You know what I've not done in a long time? I've not done our light. Political Spotlight. And then listen to this. Oh, you killed it. Oh, that's all right. Okay, it worked anyways. It was just getting into the good part. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I hope you guys are doing well. It is Saturday night. Of course, that means we are supposed to not be here tonight. We are not supposed to be here tonight, but we were here last night talking about the craziness from Muncie, the city of Muncie. Of course, Mayor Dan Ridenour has appears to have gotten us into another mess with another backwards developer, someone who has a questionable path and questionable practices in building developments. So we're going to have to see how this all plays out. There are so many questions. I have some records requests in, and we're just going to have to see how everything comes to light. So we'll see what happens there. Also, literally everybody and their brother is talking to me right now, sending me messages saying, have you seen the sheriff's video? Have you seen Sheriff Sproles' video? Yes, I have seen it. I have watched it. I've watched it twice. We are not going to be talking about it tonight. So for everybody that's like keyed up and, you know, all geared up and wants to talk about the sheriff's video, I can tell you, I apologize. We're not going to be talking about it tonight. We have a guest that we're going to be bringing on. We're going to be talking about the situation that I told you we were going to be talking about out of Lapel. The name of this episode, this is episode 36, episode 036, and this is What in the Hell, Lapel? What in the Hell, Lapel? What we see here on the screen in front of us is a table full of, it looks like a defunct Last Supper. Right here, right? We see a couple of rejects and the disciples, I guess, there. I don't know. They probably think it's accurate. But we're going to be talking about all the craziness they've done. We'll watch some of that video. But you see down here in the corner, we have a little head down here. And that little head is none other than Dr. Katherine Callahan. She's going to be joining us here in just a second. We're going to be talking. That's good, Alva. I will do that. I will demand it. We'll see what happens. So yeah, I will definitely bring that to her attention. For everybody else, hey, if you do us a favor real quick, look here. Boom. Do the YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, comment with us. We're live. We're live right now. That means if you're watching this live right now at 9:05 p.m. on Saturday, the 23rd of September, we're going to want to ask you to comment in the live comment box. If you're watching this on repeat anytime after 9 p.m., when this video goes off, please comment in the comment box down below. And above all else, share the show with everyone you know. No, tonight we're going to be talking about Lapel. We're going to be talking about all of the craziness going on down there. And what I'm doing is simply bringing into the mix another community, another situation, and just letting us all see that, folks, it's broken everywhere. And we really need to get a grasp on fixing things, and we need to get people awake and people involved and people doing things. And just one more quick little aside to Henry County before we bring the doctor on. And that is, pisses so many people off that I call her that. It's hilarious. I get inboxes. I get inbox messages about it every time we have her on. Yeah, she's not really a doctor. Shut up. Yes, she is. I mean, I don't know what to tell you about it. She is a doctor. Like I don't know what, I don't know what to tell you. So the last little thing I'm going to say here is the situation in Henry County is screwed up. I've watched the video. I've watched it several times now, and I have talked to sources, and all I can say is I've talked to sources within inside Henry County government. And ladies and gentlemen, do not fall for the Sproles bullcrap. Sproles is a spoiled 9-year-old petulant child. I've said that about so many different political figures, but like it really is true with Sproles. He is a 9-year-old spoiled brat. Every one of the questions and statements that he makes and asks is something that he has asked the council or the commissioners, and it's something in the last 9 months that he has answered, that has been answered for him. It's just he's not listening. He's being told an answer that does not fit what he wants. So he is throwing a fit. And so he pretends to not hear it, and then he just goes on about his merry way. That is the definition of insanity. To continuously repeating, doing the same thing, hoping for a different outcome, and constantly just doing it over and over and over and over and over. So he's on again, making a video, asking a bunch of questions that he's already been given the answers to. We're going to cover that video in depth tomorrow. So if you want to know what goes on in that Sproles video, tune in tomorrow, Sunday the 24th, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here. We'll talk about it, and we will play that video wide open and see what there is. And we'll talk to the coroner down here and see if we can get like some bone saws or whatnot, and we'll make the Y incision on that video and get to the guts of the matter and find out what the hell's wrong with Sproles. It's definitely bizarre. All right, so without further ado, we're going to bring her aboard and find out what's going on down here in Lapel. Yeah, let's just do it. We're gonna do it. All right. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome.
How are you?
All right. How about yourself?
We need to quit meeting on Saturday nights. We seem to do that quite often.
Right.
So, let's just do a little house cleaning, because you know me, I'm very to the point, straightforward. There seems to be a lot of speculation of where I live. Have you not heard this? How many times?
Yeah.
So I was in Lapel, moved to Anderson, but I'm starting to wonder if I need to go back to Lapel.
Huh.
I really don't understand the whole concept. I mean, I spend the majority of my waking hours in Lapel. I mean, I start my mornings there, I end my evenings there. I see the sun come up there, see the sun go down there. I touch more people in a day in the community than probably anybody else in the community. Trust me, I've got 9,000 patients. The phones ring off the hook. All 4 lines are going all the time. So
like physically touching people.
Well, and I physically touch people as well.
You're physically touching them.
Yeah, so we have a lot of things. People want to have all these questions about what's going on in Lapel. So it's not, everybody's like, oh, where do you live? Where do you live? Well, you might even live in Lapel, but you may never talk to a person all day long. That happens, right? So then there's a lot of Catherine's not a doctor. Well, I don't know. The degree on my wall in my office says that I completed a doctorate of nursing. And I think when people go to college and they have professors and they have PhDs, they call them Dr. So-and-so, and they're the one that educate us. So I get it. I understand where people are having all these questions. Mainly it's Russ Willis usually banging on me about my degrees. He can go get a doctorate if he wants. I mean, it doesn't bother me one bit. I call him Mr. Willis. Is he earn the title of Mr.? I'm not really sure.
Right.
But I call him that. So, so everybody wants to know, but I do own 30 acres in Lapel. I own 2 buildings, professional buildings. I do own the medical practice, and I own 3 homes in Lapel. So I pay taxes. I do a lot of things. And so my kids went to school in Lapel. Yes, I did have to withdraw my kids and send them over to a bigger school because they needed more academic challenges. It's not a bad thing. I'm not putting down Lapel for this. It's just what my children needed, and I needed to know what they needed. Both of them are honor students at Purdue, going to do great things. And this is the other thing I want to assure the people of Lapel. I've raised 2 amazing daughters. These daughters will do great things in life. Okay, they just will. If this LKQ goes through, and wherever my girls are in this world, and I'm not here in 20 years for whatever reason, I assure you that my children will return in their high-end cars and their big titles, and I assure you both of them will have doctorates. And they will come back and say, our mother told you not to put this over the aquifer, and on our behalf, we will now take this on for our mother. So this won't end the last of me. If this comes in over this aquifer, I will die on this hill. I am not fighting for one person in Lapel. I'm fighting for an entire community.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between me and your elected officials.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's the bottom line. So I wanted to, and we need to clear one more thing here. Does Chris Bilbrey cover Madison County?
Oh God. Listen, I can't even tell where I get this from. See, you're kind of new to me. So there's a certain thing that happens. Here's what happens. Something happens, someone calls me in, and they ask me to look at something.
These are my girls that they're posting at the bottom. Those are my girls that they're posting.
Oh,
I have no idea who that is. Yeah. They're very strong.
They call me in, and then everybody immediately sends me a bunch of friend requests. I get a major influx of friend requests. I get a major influx of like subscribers. People start watching, and then it takes about 2 or 3 days for someone to say, he doesn't live here. Why does he care? Why is he here bitching about this? He don't live here. You don't go here. And then people immediately tell everybody that I'm an axe murderer and to run away, carrying on. It's just all insanity. Everybody, the long-term listeners, they all know it's kind of a joke between us. So it's a thing. So yeah, literally today, people have cussed me out in 2 different counties. It's from Madison County telling me to stop caring about Madison County, and from Henry County. And like people say, like, dude, I don't live in Indianapolis. Should I not care about the governor? Scott Swan on Channel 13. I don't know where he lives, but I'm sure he doesn't live in down every road that he covers on the news. Like, when did that? I'm an American, man. When did I have a First Amendment right wherever I'm at? So,
well, Channel 8 News came out and covered this story on LKQ. Why isn't everybody yelling at Channel 8 News?
Right.
I love Channel 8 News.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad you wanted to cover that. Also, I do want to show you. You talk about the degree proving you're a doctor. I just want to throw this up here for people's understanding. This is a degree from Butler University, and it does say Christopher H. Bilbrey, Doctor of Philosophy of Clinical Psychology. Now, I'm not going to tell you if I bought this or whatever, but this is a degree. I don't know how I got this, but
Hey, I want you to know I bought mine. I paid my tuition. I guarantee you, I did. You know, I mean, so, you know, it's one of those things. I mean, I'm not sure, but, you know, if anybody wants my CV, I'm happy to share that with you. I don't have any problems with that. You know, if we want to talk about my CV and people want to wonder why I'm such an activist on this water, you know, I was in the middle of a caucus.
Mm-hmm.
I was very busy with that caucus, and all of a sudden, my private messenger's blowing up like, Katherine, you got to do something. Look what's going on in Lapel. Let's look at, and I'm like, people, I'm in the county. I'm doing county stuff. I'm not messing with Lapel. Well, the more people who sent it to me, after about 36 people, I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's time for me to do something. And you know, the amazing thing is these were not friends of mine on Facebook. They weren't my patients. I have no idea how these people got to me, but they somehow found me. And so, and I thank them for having the vote of confidence in me to bring this to light. So I started looking into everything. Before we get into the highlights, I would like you a little bit, Chris, to expand to the people. So we have a town council, and you've touched on this in the past, and we just had a meeting, and there was a woman by the name of Christy Worthman who must have gotten up and spoke 5, 6, 7 times. And every time she got up to speak, she had the greatest information, well-spoken, did an amazing job. She definitely holds people accountable. Her delivery is phenomenal. But every time she had to state her name and her address. Oh. Every single time. Now, I'll tell you this, Chris, a lot of things are this. Do you really think women or single women should just be up there stating their address? If we're going to do that, okay, before you expand, if we're going to do that, not one person up there had a name placard in front of their name from what I could tell. So, and then when they called roll call, it wasn't, hey, it was Noah, Chad, Brian. Yeah. Why aren't you saying their last names? And why aren't you saying, please recite where you live every meeting? As a matter of fact, Chris, maybe their placard should have their name, their address, their email, and their cell phone number. They are elected officials.
Who is it?
You want us to do it?
Who is it? Who is it that demands that they give their name and number?
Oh, Noah, over and over.
Okay, well, so here's what I'm going to do. On Monday, I'm going to go poll his filing for office, and I'll get his address, and then I'll go to the next meeting, and when I'm asked to give my address, I'll give his address.
Okay.
So
I mean, this is the most crazy thing I've ever seen before. You've touched on this because they do it over at the county council in Madison County, and you've banged on that, telling people to knock it off. I mean, this is a safety thing in this day and age.
Yeah,
it's a safety thing, and the fact that they have you keep doing that just blows my mind. Well, and you know, if you go to the town website. And you look up for people's email addresses and their addresses and their phone numbers on these appointed and elected officials, they're not there. As a matter of fact, if you go to the planning, Noah Bozel's one of the members on the planning, but he's not on there and he didn't vote for LKQ. Brian Robertson's on there, the brother-in-law to Landon, but his name isn't under the planning. Why is that? I mean, I got all kinds of questions. I don't even know who the clerk is in Lapel anymore either. I mean, it states it's Dennis Molina. But Teresa Rutherford's answering for it. Fine, that's fine. But I don't know where everybody's at. I don't know why Brian Robertson's name isn't on the planning committee. I don't know why no one on the BZA, no contact information on there at all. I don't know. Are appointed officials supposed to have that? Are your websites supposed to be up to date? I don't know, Chris. Maybe you can help us understand all this.
Well, as far as information being up to date, I mean, hell, you guys are lucky that you even have a website. So, you know, you're better off than a lot of people, but I want to be very clear. Anybody, and I'm sure, because I've tagged Noah enough times and Chad, and they always keep untagging themselves or whatever. That's fine. They've not blocked me yet. But surely to God, they've got to be watching this. Maybe they're not watching it live. Maybe they'll watch it later, whatever. But whoever, if they're watching this or if they've got friends and compatriots that'll tell them, I want to be clear. All you got to do, Noah, is pick up your phone and dial the number to Luke Britt. He's the public access counselor for the state of Indiana. And just ask him if you can require someone to give their name or their address in order to speak. Okay, now I'm going to say something that a lot of people don't like here, and this is very true. A public meeting, a city council, town council, county commissioners, county council, city council, town council, do not have to permit a time to speak. It sucks. I wish the legislators should change that, but they don't. We live in a messed up world. At that same time, it's a catch-22 because you have a First Amendment right. You're in a public building while a public meeting is going on with public officials. They can't stop you from talking either. So what happens is most of them will just give the public comment portion at some point in the meeting. But it has been very clear. You do not have to give your name. You do not have to sign up a form. You do not have to do any of that. It got brought to my attention by a viewer long ago. Muncie has been on the forefront of streaming their meetings. And there are people who go to these meetings religiously. And there's specifically one lady who goes and has been there a lot. She used to clean the mics off and things like that. She would get up periodically and talk. Or I'll say Audie Barber would get up and says their phone number all the time, would get up and say their information. Well, for all the bad guys out in the world, if you get up and say, hey, my address is 1234 Main Street, and I'm going to be at this meeting for the next 6 hours. Hey, guess who's not at his house? Christopher Bilbrey. I could go kick his door in and steal everything he's got. Or, I know, so-and-so's wife's home alone. I could go rape her. Or, I could follow this woman home from this meeting. I'm obsessed with her because I've been watching her in this meeting for the last 6 months. I could follow her home after this meeting. I know where she's at. So you're right. No one should have to give their information. In my opinion, the only people whose names and information should be fully known is the elected officials. And if people say, well, that's not right, well, they don't have to run for office.
Exactly.
They
make a choice to run for office.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The people who are concerned make a choice to come and voice it, but they don't have to put their private information on public display. But these elected officials need to be accessible, and that becomes a problem when they're not. So, as we move into this, I'm trying to take us somewhat in order. My phone has blown up all day. All day yesterday. I couldn't get anywhere after it viewed on this video. I'm trying to see patients and work through everything. Here's an interesting thing. So Evan McMullen's the council for the town. And I've got people who are making record requests. And they're the famous, it's famous for, well, we can get back to you in a timely manner. Well, what's a timely manner? So they have to acknowledge it within 7 days, but what's a timely manner after that? Well, what's so interesting to me, Chris, is that he said that our form was antiquated and it needed to be updated. Well, this is a small town in Lapel. Do you know what the new update is on the new antiquated form?
What?
At the bottom, it says whether or not the attorney gives permission to release the information or not.
Wait, what's it say?
He has to sign off on it. The attorney has to sign off on whether or not he's going to release this information, if it qualifies to be released or if it doesn't qualify to get released. I thought that for the most part, records are for the people. And now he gets to choose what he's going to release and what he's not. I think I sent that to you earlier today on the records, the latest thing on his record releases. This is just the craziness of all this. So the new public records request, I sent it to you on text. At the bottom of it, it says attorney decision. The information is disclosable or the information is not disclosable. And then the attorney comments and his instructions and then his signature.
So I don't care what Evan writes down there. Like 99% of what anybody would request is something that's accessible. So if they start doing this thing, listen, people of Lapel, and Katherine, spread this out there. If people of Lapel are starting to request records and they're starting to screw with them and they're not giving them their records, or they're saying they deny them or whatever, contact me. First of all, I'll tell you, if there's anybody out there that wants a good blank template that is a record request form, contact me and I will email it to you. So a lot of places say, well, you've got to fill it out on my form. No, that's not true. That's also a bunch of bull crap. See, there's something
happened in Lapel.
There's something called the Indiana Public Access Counselor's Handbook, and all of the elected officials need this. They should have copies of this. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it up on the screen right here. I'll show it to you right here. This is what it looks like, folks. Elected officials and everybody out there, if you've never seen this, this is what it is. See what this says? Handbook on Indiana Public Access Laws, Office of the Public Access Counselor. Okay? And then it's got very simple things. Who has access to government meetings? What government meetings are open to the public? What is a public agency? Are there certain agencies that would normally qualify as public agencies pursuant to the open door law but are exempt? Is it possible for a nonprofit? What's a governing body? What is a meeting? What is not a meeting? Can a member of the governing body attend any meeting electronically? What's an official action? What is a serial meeting? Then there's things down here. Public agencies' responsibility. Let's see here. Look here. What special notice requirements apply for the media? Open door laws, purpose, definition. Who may access public records? What kind of documents may be accessed? What records may or may not be accessed? May I request information in the form of a list?
So how long, once I submit that form, do we have that they have to get back to me?
Okay, so this is the general basic idea of what I've always went by. If you're requesting, okay, let's say this. Let's say you're requesting an email. You're requesting an email between the two council members, and the email that you're requesting is from last week. So you write up a request that says, I, Katherine Callahan, want public documents, and the public documents that I want are emails between, say, September 18th and September 23rd, that period, okay? And I don't know when they came in. They came in sometime between the 18th and the 23rd, and I want all emails between that period to and from Noah to Chad, okay? I want all of those emails about LKQ, or what's it called?
LKQ.
LKQ, okay? And I want everything on that. Well, let's say for the sake of argument that they wrote 6 emails. 3 emails from Noah and 3 emails in replying from Chad back to Noah. Okay, and you filed that on Monday's date. Okay, those are basically something that they should be able to go to the computer and print off in seconds. Basically, they've got, if you respond, if you send them a request in email, they have 24 hours to respond to you. If you email them a request, they have to respond to you with a receipt within 24 hours. And what that receipt must say is, we've received your request. We're going to look to see if we have anything responsive. We're going to try to get back to you in a timely manner. All right. In my opinion, I would give that a week. If I don't have that in a week, I am then going to be sending an email saying, hey, where are my records? And they're going to say, well, we have a timely manner. And I'm going to say, look, I'm not asking you for emails from 2002. If it's an email from 2002, if I'm asking for 6 months of emails or something like that, that's, understandable. But I'm literally asking you for a couple of emails from last week. That should be easy. I'm going to give them a week. The public access counselor says 30 days, basically. So anything that goes 30 days, if you haven't got a response within 30 days, you should be able to file a complaint with the Indiana Public Access Counselor.
Okay, I want to read you something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I can send you the document. Now, you've dealt with me enough to know I'm not going to say anything I can't send you a document on.
Oh, yeah.
We have a gentleman who's been asking for public records.
Okay.
He got a response from Evan McMullen, and I'm going to read this to you. Try not to open, I'm going to have to literally take my hand and shut your mouth. Okay?
Okay.
Dear Mr. So-and-so, attached are screenshots of my 3 acknowledgments. Please review your email. You should find it there. If not, check your spam. But please know all 3 were acknowledged well within the allotted 7-day time frame. Now, it gets better. In regards to files, I am only as fast as our overworked town staff that has this information. I do believe I have the social media, so I will get that to you shortly. When it comes to its actual salaries of the persons who work for the town, this website has always been helpful. He gives them Gateway. Nonetheless, we will provide a roster with salary information of the employees. So is that an appropriate comment? In regards to the files, I am only as fast as our overworked town staff that has this information. Then why are you making more work for yourself and having people that you have to sign off on the records request?
Yeah, that's stupid. So wait, that's from Evan?
That's from Evan. I mean, I don't even know. How do you respond to somebody like that? Then it goes on. Let me see here, because there's quite a bit of correspondence. I should have sent this to you earlier. And the gentleman just says, I'm just looking for some updates. Let me see here. I never received confirmation for the records request I sent on August 31st. With all due respect, being understaffed is not an excuse to violate Indiana state codes. I agree with this gentleman. He seems very knowledgeable of what he's asking for. So that came with, sir, attached. Again, is a screenshot of the first acknowledgement, simply asking you to fill out the request you made on the form that the town has used for several years. With all due respect, we have not violated statutory law. Nonetheless, I will endeavor to get the first inquiry back to you today. So I don't even know what to say with Evan's responses. You just told us now we've got to send something in and he's got to sign it off on it and he's overworked. I don't understand what you're doing here. Now, in your book that you've read, does it say the county or council attorney has to sign off on all this stuff?
Oh, no. It's pretty commonplace for a government to pass the records request off to an attorney to see if it's like something that's, needs to be whatever. But most places have a pretty good understanding of what is and what isn't, if they've been doing it for any length of time at all. And
just to be clear, that was days ago. I just got a response. I've never received the records. Still has not received the records. I mean, this is how crazy. Now, there's a lot of people who wanted to jump on, but then they kind of were afraid, and I get that. I mean, I get that. I mean, uptown people are calling me a piece of shit for what I'm doing. Okay, well, I don't know about you, but it's your water, so I'll be that if that's what you want me to be, because your water's going to be shit here before long.
Right.
So, so here's the thing. After this whole thing came out with LQQ, Evan wrote a letter to the people on how everything was done on the up and up, nothing had to be done. And so, or Amy just popped in. She said she wants to join on, and she's done an incredible amount of work. So if Amy jumps on there, you can include
Yeah, I'm more than fine with that.
But here's the thing. Once this all happened and people kind of got word of how everybody was related and people were going back and forth, the town of Lapel stopped allowing any comments on their Facebook posts.
No,
it's completely shut down now.
Okay, so they've shut all comments off?
Yeah, you can't comment on anything. You can't. I mean, it's awful.
As long that's a shitty thing to do, but as long as they've shut them all off, that's fair. What they can't do is they can't allow some and some others not.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hate that the people have to be silenced. Well, then which from that kind of leads us into where we're going, right? So now we the people get blasted because we're putting you on Facebook. Well, the way we were communicating to you with your town page, we can't even do that anymore. Half of these people, if you go to the town of Lapel, there's really not a good way to communicate with any of these appointed or elected officials. There's none. So how do you want us to communicate with you? And here's a great thing. I mean, you're the same way. The first meeting that I put up was on the planning one, I think. And within 24 hours, I'd already had almost 2,000 views. I mean, people want to know. Yeah. I mean, I'm not doing it. You think I don't have other things to do in the evening? You think just hanging out? I got things to do, but clearly the people are asking for help. I didn't have any intentions on getting in the middle of any of this, but you drew in our aquifer. You silenced the people. You put people at 3 minutes time that they can speak. You're asking people who have lived in this town their entire lives. They have generations that have lived in this, and you want them to tell you how they feel about a project in 3 minutes? Their passion's a little bit stronger than that. 3 minutes, but here's the thing. LKQ got a 45-minute spiel. But for the people, we're only going to listen to you for 3 minutes. No, you need to listen to these people. And when we did want to talk, then they started they wouldn't even put public comment on the agendas, because they were just going to silence everybody. And I get it, Chris, you may need to expand on this a little bit. They have to hold public meetings, but they don't have to let you speak in certain ones. And the other thing is, can you expand a little bit on what a quorum consists of? And if that quorum is meeting outside of the regular scheduled, and can that be a problem to the people?
Oh, hell yeah, absolutely. It's an open door violation. Yeah. It's also in that handbook. What we need to do is we need to print that handbook off 5 times and take a copy of it and give it to each of the council members. We need to give it to the clerk, and we need to give it to Evan and say, here, you guys need to read this and study up on this, because we're going to start filing a bunch of complaints. So basically, a quorum is the majority of a voting body. So for county commissioners, a quorum is 2 members. You have 3 commissioners. So if 2 commissioners are together, it's a meeting. If 2 commissioners are together discussing county business and it's not in a meeting, it's an illegal meeting. If you have a 5-person board, a quorum is 3 people. So any 3 people cannot get together and discuss county business.
So if those 3 people are together, and then they're with your county attorney or your council attorney, is that a quorum?
That's a problem. Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I'm asking this question. And here's the thing. I'm really tired. I'm really tired and exhausted of people saying that I'm close to the edge of libel, that I'm close of defamation of character. I am asking questions. These are not questions that I'm not seeing. These aren't questions that other people aren't asking. I mean, libel and defamation of character is a lie.
Well, back up. First of all, these are publicly elected officials. They filed to run. Listen, people say, well, it's a public official. You can't get in trouble for slander or libel for anything you say. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't be going out and calling, the mayor of Whoville, a heroin addict who's sleeping with, a bunch of whores or whatever. I probably would not say that unless I had proof of that. But asking questions and saying things specifically, saying it in your opinion, it's my opinion that I'm gonna say I'll give you a good example right now. I'll give it a good example. It's my opinion that the mayor of Muncie employs a group of people that I call the cheerleaders or Dan addicts, and this is them. All right? Like, that's probably mean and kind of uncalled for, but it's political satire, okay? These people, if they don't want to be talked about or they don't want to be the topic of conversation, Chad, what a perfect name for him, because he is a Chad. Chad needs to resign, okay? They need to resign if they can't handle the pressure. A lot of people hate, he's a radio talk show host out of Indianapolis, 93.1 WIBC, Rob Kendall. And he gets a lot of heat. But at one point, he was a town councilor for Brownsburg. And he said, twice a month, I would sit up there in my meetings and I would allow the town people to come up and call me anything they wanted to call me. If they want to call me racist, if they want to call me Hitler, if they want to call me Satan, whatever they want to say, they want to cuss me, they want to praise me, because I'm getting paid their tax dollars to sit up here. And for anybody that is an elected official that does not have that mentality, they need to show themselves the door. They need to resign, and they can do it tonight.
Yeah, the discussion was that was thrown in the taxpayers' faces. Mm-hmm. We don't get paid enough in this role. Well, I'm gonna tell everybody something right now. You want to talk about getting paid? Let me tell you about getting paid.
Right.
I was the chief deputy coroner of this county, getting paid $9.45 an hour. You want to talk about not getting paid? You want to talk about what I would do and my long nights and me being up and me going here and me going there and everywhere for $9.45 an hour? But you know what? It was the job that was signed up for. Now, did they follow the rules on how they were paying us? No. Should the coroners be getting paid a lot more? Absolutely. And I'm fighting for that, for those coroners to be paid more. But you know what? For him to say that, no. Yeah. I mean, you should have looked into the job before you took it then and find out. It takes a lot of time in those seats if you want to do a good job. And quite honestly, I'm going to tell you, because some people may have not seen the clip. Some people may not understand why we're here. But the other thing is, when Kate's asked me a question, when we do all of this and we're not getting paid, okay, this town hired they hired an MS consultant. This lady gets up at the BZA, Oksana, and she keeps talking about this house over by where LKQ is going to go in. And it's a vacant home and nobody lives there. And she goes on for this spiel for like 40 minutes. So finally, when the public got to speak, the gentleman who lives in that house stands up and goes, I live in that house. She goes, well, I just went off. I just Googled and I just looked this up and it said it was vacant. So you pay this consultant for what? People need to understand. Don't tell me the consultant you're paying. We have elections for a reason.
Yeah.
Those elections are for the people invested in our community. And you're passing the baton to somebody who doesn't even live in our community.
Yeah. No. That is, I am definitely not okay with that. That is not a problem. Yeah. That is definitely a problem.
You've got consultants telling you what to do, but your job as an elected official is to double check and triple check and make sure they are doing the job they are supposed to do.
The buck stops with them.
Absolutely.
The buck stops with them.
Absolutely. When I send medicine over to the pharmacist, they have a job to double check me with the allergies. They have a job to call me if there's a drug interaction. It is the same thing. So to say that we have this consultant, no, absolutely not. That's where it stopped, because honestly, she failed the people by not knowing people live there. And here's the thing. That's like right on the corridor. If you come into Lapel, you're going to pass that right then and there. So why wouldn't you see if the lights are on, or why wouldn't you go knock on the door? Why wouldn't you go out to the site and look at it? So, this consultant that you guys are paying, I don't know that you're getting your money's worth.
Right. Well,
that's just kind of how I feel.
It looks like Amy has joined us. Do you want to bring her on here?
Yeah, go ahead. She's got a lot of information that she's been gathering. So yeah, she's been a wealth of help here.
Hello.
How are you?
I think we're doing good. Okay,
hold on.
We can hear you.
You can hear me.
We can
hear.
Do you have headphones?
No.
How? I'm trying to.
You have devices on?
No, but I can hear y'all hearing me. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
We go to settings, microphone.
So okay. Here's what you do. I forget what we did with Charlie's. Go into the settings.
Mm-hmm.
And go to audio.
On audio.
And click echo cancellation.
I got that one clicked.
Hello. Okay, I can still hear me. So now click reduce background noise.
It doesn't let me do that. It says its browser is not supported for background noise removal. It's because I'm in my. Okay, I can do that.
See if you can do that. Oh, then you might be able to hear us.
How's that?
Hello? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, we can't hear you. I mean, I can hear you, but we can't hear us.
No, I can hear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Am I echoing?
You're not echoing.
So I can hear y'all. So are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
But we still hear us. I'm trying to think. What did we do with Charlize?
So you're hearing yourself in my microphone.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking you got another device on somewhere. Your phone's not on or something?
No, my phone's down here.
We dealt with this once before, and I know how to stop it. Hold on. So in your audio, can you go back to your settings in your audio?
I'm sorry, Matt.
Is there anything that you can click?
Everything's already clicked. It says automatically adjust microphone, echo cancellation. It's okay. I will mute it. I don't have to speak. I just wanted to, like, if y'all can hear yourselves, like, I'd rather the show go on.
Well, okay. So if you, because I mean, I want you to talk, and so we can just.
Let me go grab some headphones. I'll be back. Y'all just pause me back, put me over here, and I'll come back.
I'll put you down below. Yeah, see what you can do. If you got headphones, that would take care of it.
Sounds good. I'll get my son's. He's got some.
All right. On the fly. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, so while she's doing that, do you think it might be good to play the clip so people can know what we're talking about?
People are waiting to see the clip.
Okay, so and it's about the 17-minute, right? Is that
yeah? And it's about the 17-minute mark. And I just want everybody to know I did have two phones that were on record, so it wasn't like I was hiding my phone.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, they were on tripods.
Okay, so I'm gonna just start it from the beginning for a little bit, just so people can get a kind of a bearing, and then we'll jump to the point. Or is there anything else that people need to hear?
No, this is they can just make their own decisions.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to make it go big here for a second.
Good evening, everyone. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'd like to call to order the Lapel Town Council meeting. It is September 21st, 2023. Can I have roll call, please?
Noah.
Here.
Chad.
Here.
Lindsay. Here. Brian.
Here.
Gary.
Here.
No last names, no place cards.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
First thing on the agenda, I would like
No prayer.
to approve the agenda for the evening. I do have one request. I'd like to entertain a motion to add pay app number 15 for Thieneman Construction. Do I have a motion to add?
And then you'll have to move to the 17-minute mark if you wanna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll jump to that. Do you know about how Joey? Is that what is it? Is it 2,300 people? Is that what we're saying?
Gary.
About
In Lapel?
2,300 people in Lapel.
Yeah, about that. Yeah,
Council members have
a little over
any requests
2,000. Yeah.
about the agenda?
Okay, so I just want to let everybody know kind of what we're dealing with here. This gentleman right here, he's the president. This is Noah Bozell.
Bozell.
This is the vice president. This is who we're going to be. We're going to be watching the performance from here in a few moments. It's going to be amazing. This guy down here in the suit, he's the attorney, the really young and just barely an attorney. I'm going to hurt his feelings eventually. He's been calling me. It's just, it's going to be hilarious. It's going to be amazing. Okay. So then next, Lindsay Washmuth. Am I saying that right? Is this her?
Yep.
Okay,
Lifetime. She's lived there her whole life.
Okay.
Good people.
And then is this Gary?
No, that's MA's consultant. So we have an attorney and we have a consultant that the town is paying for to come to these meetings.
Oh, isn't that amazing?
But we don't have a town manager. But
Yeah.
the town manager would be cheaper.
That's amazing. So this is one of these is Gary?
Gary is on the far right.
Okay,
Yeah,
Gary is here.
That's Gary Shuck.
And then
Yeah.
this is Brian Robertson.
That's Brian Robertson. He's the brother-in-law to Landon Paddock. And my understanding, somebody said, I didn't know this, but every one of them were caucused in before they ever ran and got elected. Like Noah was caucused
That's
in.
hilarious.
Yeah, that's what they said, that everyone, I didn't know that. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that's what I'm being told, that they all were caucused in at one point. I know Brian was for sure.
What the hell?
Yeah. And then Teresa Rutherford, she's running right now for clerk treasurer, but she, I think, has been the person acting as that person, is my understanding, because according to a news article that was just put out, she's the one that was trying to tell everybody what happened to the $95,000 that's been missing for like 4 or 5 years. Chad Blake was the president of the council, but then they've handed it over to Noah, who's 22. He's now the president of the.
That dude is like forever a deer in headlights. Like just that's if you've never been out on the back road of Delaware County or any kind of county, whatever county out in your neck of the woods, and you have ever just about hit a deer, this is Noah. That's what's going on here. So he's how old? 22?
He's 22.
He
needs to find the right mentor if he wants to make politics. Now I want to back up here. Everybody needs to understand this is Russ's pick.
Yeah.
Russ wanted him to be the coroner at the age of 20.
I gotta pull this down for a second.
Yeah, this was Russ's neighbor. Russ wanted him to be the coroner. Russ is priming him, and here's the thing, just like Russ ran Evan McMullen last year against Gaskell as a senator, and Evan, I think, is 26 or 27.
I know.
Which I'm all about young people getting involved, but you gotta
Yeah.
have leadership that's going to invest in them and train them the right way.
I'm all about it. And listen, I ran for Delaware County Clerk when I was 19. But hell, by the time I was 19, I had been involved in politics like heavily for years. So I was different than a lot of people. But when that kid ran for corner, I took one look at him and I was like, oh, seriously, listen. All right, I've just got to talk to you one-on-one for a second. Forget everybody else is here. I was a cop. All right. So like, I just cannot imagine this guy getting a 3:00 phone call and walking into an apartment and seeing somebody that's literally just took a 12-gauge shotgun and splattered themselves across the back wall.
He has finished his funeral education, evidently. I'm not sure. He finished those I don't know how long ago. I don't know if he's a licensed funeral director. And his dad, has been in the funeral business for some time.
Okay, well, that's surprising.
Yeah, they bought the funeral home there in Lapel, and so they're kind of in the funeral world. But I will tell you, I mean, I've 30 years have been a nurse, and it still was a lot for me to walk into one of those rooms. I'll tell you, it takes a lot from you. So, I mean, at the end of the day is, I'm not sure that anyone did their due diligence. And the fact that when I watched the whole meeting, I watched it and I sat through this. This is the first time I've ever been to a council meeting in Lapel. Chad ran most of the meeting until he had to leave. And then somebody else was like, it was never where Noah kind of picked up the ball and kind of ran this meeting. And I'm not sure why the youngest one on there is the president just yet, because he just won his election in 22. So in 23, his first year that he's elected in there, he's automatically the president.
That's funky.
That's just weird to me.
I wouldn't want to be that. If I was him, I would say, no way.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot to take on. And so, there's a lot of questions that I have, and there's a lot of things he couldn't even answer. And even when they would correct him on these things, then he's like, oh, okay, I got to do it this way. We're going to read through this, but the one thing is we need to talk about ordinances.
Oh, yeah.
And so we need to make sure we don't forget that tonight before we get off of here.
I'll write that down.
And see what they think.
All right, here we go. And our other guest is back here, so we'll play this and we'll see what goes on here. All right, we're queued up here. We're at 17 minutes.
Team and our legal team have worked diligently to go through any project that comes to us to make sure that it is done above board, that everything is processed correctly. The fact that there are people in this town suing the town of Lapel for something that they think that we did incorrectly, wasting taxpayer dollars, is deplorable. Absolutely unacceptable that people feel that's necessary. Additionally,
what he's doing is absolutely unacceptable.
You want to talk about deplorable and wasting taxpayer dollars. You have a consultant company who did not even get the environmental studies before you brought on LKQ, and you're telling me I'm wasting them?
Yeah, right.
You limit the people. They can't even speak. You're not even letting them know for these public meetings. Do you know that they published the meeting in the Elwood paper, not in the Pendleton Times? Why would you do such a thing? Yes. This is, and I'm wasting taxpayer dollars. No. If you would let us speak, if you would have us join in, if you would make us part of everything that's going on, nobody would be paid. So let's back up on how we're wasting taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I think you're wasting taxpayer dollars when you're not listening to your constituents and going ahead with some half-assed plan.
Oh, yeah.
That affects your aquifer, your water supply.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here we go.
Don't put us on blast on Facebook and then try to come to us all nice and friendly.
Okay, I didn't.
And ask us a question that you could have asked first before showing your ass on Facebook.
And look, what an attorney here. Oh, he said ass. I better laugh. That's such a weird, I saw that and I was like, oh no, Evan, no you didn't.
Respect us. We respect you.
That's not how that works.
No, it isn't.
everything we can to help make this town better. People in the past didn't reach out, consult, find people, and it's put us in a position today that has us in a negative spot when it comes to development and
So
growth.
he's admitting that everyone in the
And
past
financial
didn't do what they
position,
were supposed to
to the
do.
point where
Right.
we can't hire as many police officers as we can. We can't get an SRO because we can't afford it. We're doing everything that we can. We're using the resources that we have available. Give us some respect. We give you respect. We're trying to help make this town better.
You're the employer, and the people you're looking at are the bosses. How about you earn the respect, and then you might get it? But like this is like, seriously. I watched this. When did this happen? Thursday night.
This happened Thursday night, and here's my thing: there are some decent people, right? But the fact that you allowed him to speak on behalf of all of you.
Yeah.
You can sit here and say, no, we didn't allow him to do that. We didn't know he was going to do that. Oh, no, look at each one of them. No one is looking at him saying, hey, this is not something I would say to the people.
Yeah.
And the fact that he is not the president of the council speaking to the people, that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
A huge problem. You know,
Yeah.
and here's the thing. I bet you if any of these people resign, because they're all, this is the other thing I want to bring up. They're all saying that we can't find people to run. We can't find people to go in these positions.
They're not
Well,
advertising.
let's all back up here a minute. I've dealt with Russ Willis. If you're not
Right.
his pick, he's probably talking you out of it. And as a matter of fact, I've had a few people reach out to me who've said, I've tried to run in those positions in Lapel, but I can't get somewhere. I can't get Russ to respond to me. And I know it's true because I've had the same problem.
Yes.
When he's got his pick, he's not going to get back to you.
No.
So this is what I tell you in the town of Lapel. Come to my office and bring me your application. I will show you exactly how we're going to do it. I'm going to get notarized. I'm going to become a notary just for this thing so that people, and I'll do it free of charge. I will notarize you and you can take it down there and you can put your paperwork in and you can have a day at it. Because what just happened, I was actually, and you know me, I'm never lost on words. I was almost speechless.
Yeah.
You just put yourself on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2 cameras running. You just put yourself on YouTube. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They had a Zoom, a live Zoom up. Dax Norton himself, which is part of MS Consultants, had a live Zoom going in. You could actually join their Zoom, filming them directly sitting from where Evan McMillan is, kind of looking down the panel. So it was something they wanted to broadcast, which I'm glad that they did.
And you know what's even more incredible, Chris? Christy Worthman got up and she said, am I allowed to respond to that? No, that public comment has to wait till the next meeting. You cannot respond to his statement.
That is ridiculous. She should have just, was that the end of the meeting?
No, it was right when they first.
Oh no! I mean, when did she stand up? When it's right when he gets
after it. Right after she gets up there and she says, "Now, can I respond to that?" I mean, so if you look a little bit, and they're like, "No."
That's ridiculous.
And then you wonder why you're getting sued.
Yeah. Well,
because you know when people speak.
She won't come. She'll forget. You know, she won't be as mad.
That's exactly what they're hoping they do.
And then, you know, what's amazing to me is that some people have actually said it was okay for him to behave this way.
Oh, they've applauded it.
Yes. And that just blows my mind. Because you're an elected official.
Who's that? Who are these?
Lapel Chatter and Lapel Uncensored, they're Facebook groups that many people have come on and said, oh, he is, you know, what he said is absolutely valid. You know, he is right. Respect is earned and everybody should be showing them respect, but it's not reciprocated.
I mean, I don't even know what to, I mean, but you know what? Does this behavior surprise me, Chris? No. How many times has Ben Gale, Rob Steele, Anthony Emery, and Commissioner Richpoint done this in the county? This is a culture in our county. I'm going to tell you something. When we get into LKQ, this is like the lichens on steroids.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, but it's the culture that has been allowed in this county for way too long. And I'm going to tell you something. People don't like the old way. I don't know how many phone calls I've got. People who love me, absolutely love me. And they go, now, Katherine, if you could just deliver your message just a little bit softer. If you could just, and you know what? I love all
So
of you
sad.
for calling me. I love all of you for calling me, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know, the one thing I live by, and I want them to know that I have by my desk: say what you mean what you say. Just don't say it mean. I'm working on that, people. I don't know. I'm just very black and white, but I love you people for coming to me, and you continue to remind me. I'm never upset with that.
No, we Kates have a serious issue with the whole, tactful, kind, fuck that, fuck you, fuck your horse, and leave me alone.
It's hard. It's hard. I mean, it really is. And so, but I do love the people, and that's what I want to tell the community. If people can come to me and talk to me about my delivery, and we're still friends at the end of the day, clearly you can come to me, whoever you are. Right. So it doesn't matter. My door is always open.
Right.
Sometimes we're going to agree to disagree. It's fine. I'm fully aware that Landon Paddock is out there calling me Cuckoo Catherine. I get it. Okay.
But that's okay. They're allowing that. They're allowing that
Right.
derogatory terms.
Right.
The only hate speech you
It's
see
fine.
coming out.
Make your names up, and I feel like I have to go back to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurt me, because we're all three. So, it's just one of those things that we're going to roll with. But the one thing I've got someone on lapel chair that just keeps raking me over the coals. And while I have put the truth out there, I've never gone to this extent. And if you think that if you want to call it speech, because I don't call this a speech, I call it a rant, a knee-jerk reaction. It divided a community.
Sure.
It did not unite a community, and elected officials should be uniting a community. Now,
Yeah.
Some people have said to me, I should be uniting the community. I'm in the healthcare. I have a medical practice there. Well, I am trying to unite the community to have a voice. And the thing is that people are saying to me, well, you're not saying how we're going to fix this. You're not bringing anything to the table. I don't know. But we just brought an attorney to the table, and I think the whole crowd erupted in applause because finally they've been heard.
Yes.
So
Right.
I have
And made
done
valid points. Valid points were brought by the attorneys. There
Yeah.
should have been a from the medical from the health board. They should have had to go to Madison County Health Board and pulled a permit in order to have a septic put in or whatever that looks like. None of that was in the proposal. And
But isn't that what MSK? Isn't
Yeah.
that what MSK consultant or MS consultant supposed to be doing? And I'm wasting taxpayer dollars. You guys didn't even get the information you needed from your consultant company.
Yeah.
How did we even get to the BZA when you didn't even get it into the planning?
Yes.
And how did the council allow this to go through without asking why all these steps weren't met? The only person wasting money is wasting my money to get an attorney in there to speak on our behalf.
Yeah.
Would be the council doing that.
And that's the thing. And I will tell you honestly, I was at a point of put up or shut up.
Yeah.
And so I put up. And that's what I had to do. There's a gentleman by the name of Mr. Smothers who has lived his life in the industry. And you make him speak in 3 minutes. He can't explain to you his PhD in life on how contaminated this is going to be. Right? But you don't care to ask him what his experience is. You just think he's coming in to cause trouble. No, you should listen to this man.
Yeah.
Then you got Mr. Valentine, who as well has been a lifelong and has more experience. He's been an elected official 7 times. And you talk to him and he's got to sit down in 3 minutes. Well, what are you talking about? These people live right there. I mean, I don't understand what you're doing. These are the salt of the earth people. These are the people what makes Lapel today. They should have the longest time on the floor.
How many people show up at these meetings?
Well,
Usually
used to be just a couple.
Yeah.
But now we got roomfuls.
Standing room only.
Yeah.
Okay, well, and that's normally what happens. No one
When
goes,
you put it
nobody
on
cares.
Facebook, that's what the problem is. You put it on Facebook.
Yeah, someone finds out about it, someone starts stirring the pot, then people say, oh, I want to go see the drama.
Yeah.
How many people talk?
Yeah. Well, and there was a room full that was wanting to talk. And then it's like, well, we got so many, now we're going to limit you guys all to 3 minutes. Listen, this is the aquifer. But LKQ got to talk for 45 minutes to an hour. MS Consultants got to talk for 30 or 40 minutes. And you know what? The public patiently sat there and listened. Now, if you want to talk about you give respect and you get respect, the public sat there. So you give them the respect they deserve and you let them speak for as long as they would like to speak.
Or you allow it to be more than one meeting. You say, hey,
look
we're
Yeah.
going to do this over 3 or 4 meetings. We're going to
Yeah.
have a discussion.
Yeah,
And
and look at Mr. Smothers.
Yes.
He cannot tell you his resume in 3 minutes. The man has a PhD in life. He has a PhD in the automotive world. It's important for the people to understand what his background is in order for him to give a testimony. But you're going to tell him that takes away from his 3 minutes. No.
What? So how many meetings do you guys have a month?
Well, you have a planning. You have a...
No, just of the council.
Just once a month.
I think it's twice a month. The reason I say that is because Mr. Chad spoke and he said, it roughly comes down to $4 an hour that we're getting when we work for you. And I said, okay, if they're only doing 1 or 2 meetings a month, then that means at most they make $6,000 a year. That is what the Gateway Online says for their salaries, $6,000 a year for every single one of those members up on that town council board. So 6,000, when you break that down, that looks like, you break that down into 12. Either way, it comes out to about $500 a month. So $500 a month at 2 meetings is $250 a meeting is what they're being paid. Now, lots of people were commenting when I broke that down on Facebook, and they said, well, that's, they're doing much more than just those 2 meetings. Okay, well, then they're not delegating, and that means they're joining meetings that have no business joining, or not to say there's no business for them to join, but you should have a representative from the town council attending the planning commission meetings, a representative from the town council attending the board of zoning appeals.
Most places do that.
Right. They're going to all these meetings, which is no separation of powers whatsoever. It's all just trickled into each other. And so then the same people that are voting on the board of zoning appeals are voting on the town council. They're voting on the planning commission, which is where we come in with the paddocks. And you see the connection and you wonder, where is their best interest? Is it really in the people, or is it in this one family or this one entity's whole conglomerate and their personal interest?
So here's the story, Chris. I wish we had a whiteboard that I could do while we were up this for the community to be able to follow.
You want me to put one behind me? And
So
I'll write it out?
based on the articles somebody has found, because I got people sending me messages, Bozell was caucused in December of 21.
Okay.
Blake was caucused in January of 20. Washmuth was caucused in November of 22. And I remember Russ Willis had to sign off on her in order for her to run for election. I remember that because I did a grid the minute he signed off, which is fine. I got nothing against her. So when people are watching this, we're just explaining everybody. We're not picking and choosing.
Sure.
So then Shuck, I don't know about Shuck, but Robertson was caucused in October of 22. So
That's
I don't
people.
know if Shuck is the only. Shuck may be. I don't know if he was caucused in or not. I don't have a date on him. So even if you look at it, 4 out of the 5 were caucused in.
That's not elected. That is not elected.
Yeah. That's a problem.
Yeah, and so you're seeing all that. And here's the story. I'm going to tell you. I've worked with Russ Willis. Now that I know all this, none of this surprises me.
Yep.
No, I mean, this is a Ben Gale. This is an Anthony Emery. This is a Jerry Alexander. This is a Rob Steele. We've just created in a smaller group over here in the town. And so when you're seeing almost your entire council that's caucused in, I don't know. You got to worry. Someone wrote in this, and people are sending me stuff while we're on here. I feel like Chad's speech is a perfectly acceptable request, and it obviously came from a place of caring with some obvious frustration thrown in, and who can blame him? These council folks work many hard, stressful hours to try and make this town better. We don't need keyboard warriors coming on here, name calling and stirring the pot. Good civil debate is absolutely a healthy thing, and I agree that it's perfectly warranted in this situation. Dragging folks through the mud, however, is inappropriate and shouldn't be tolerated. This little town is better than that. Let's be better and do better. Now, here's what I'm going to tell everybody. Your water is at stake.
Mm.
And I did nothing more than ask a question. I asked, is Landon Paddock the vice president of ARCO? Is his father, Dan Paddock, sitting as vice president on the planning? That's an appointed position for everybody. Is Brian Robertson, his brother-in-law, which would be the son, I believe, to Dan, or the son-in-law to Dan Paddock, on the planning commission? Is Brian Robertson also someone who was caucused in on the town council? Who there are 5 people who sit on the town council. The vote went 2-2. Who tipped the scales? Brian Robertson, who again got 2 votes because he got planning and he got the town council. And I do have to ask, what does Brian Robertson do for a living? He owns a trucking company. How much trucking is going to go into this $40 million? I don't know if he'll end up using it or not, but you're just down the street. I don't know, right? But it's something that needs to be stated. Okay, that's not slander. That's not libel. It's a fact.
Yeah.
Fact is not libel or slander, and people need to knock it off.
Yeah, they're just idiots. You're not committing slander or libel against an elected official.
So then you get to the BZA, and I believe within the last 6 to 8 weeks, they appointed nonetheless, but Cam Paddock, who is the brother to Landon, the son to Dan Paddock, and the brother-in-law to Brian Robertson. And how many people are on the BZA? 5.
Let's not forget the Lapel Redevelopment Committee. The Lapel Redevelopment Committee consists of 6 people. Sean Kofer is the president. Pamela Shook, who is also, I would imagine, related to Gary, because the same last names here. Amanda Paddock, that is Landon's wife, is the secretary. Chad Blake is a member. Paula Lee, who is the former treasurer. I'm not even sure how she is, but she's deputy clerk. She definitely works for the town hall. She is a member. And Brian Gill is the school board representative. The Lapel Redevelopment Committee is responsible for the Lapel Comprehensive Plan. They're also the ones. Yeah.
They met right before the town council. As big as this thing is with this LKQ, 4 people showed up for it, and it lasted 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And do you think Amanda stayed for the town council? No. Did you see any, this just blows my mind. Now, I'll tell you another thing that really made me upset. Evan McMullen, and I've got this on video on the planning. He comments about me making these statements on Facebook. And he wants to use this big word. And he says, it really kind of could be slander, could be libel, because you really don't understand conflict of interest. You don't understand the definition of nepotism. But this could be very egregious or some stupid word. And I'm like, what the hell?
Egregious. It's egregious.
There you go. Egregious. I can't even think of the word because I would never use the word. I mean, come on.
Wait, where did he say that?
He's got in the planning. I'll have to send you that clip too. So that was in the planning, the very first one I put on video. And I just sit there and I just scratch my head. I don't even want to say the word because where is this coming from?
Chris, I put all of these on YouTube. So if you want, I can share the YouTube links for you. So that way it creates a transcript. I put the planning meeting, the gay meeting, and the...
what's your YouTube account?
Oh, it's the Concerned Citizen.
Oh, okay. That's who you... Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of really an interesting thing on how... and it's like everybody just thinks everything's going to pass. I mean, clearly, when you guys are not showing up at other meetings, it tells me you're probably meeting or talking to each other behind.
Privately, behind.
You guys are showing your cards without even showing them. And so, I mean, but these are the things that are really bothering me. Now you've even got the city or the town attorney banging on your constituents. We pay your check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be representing everyone, not just the council.
I wondered why during the meeting the other night, everyone kept looking to Evan to make sure that they could say what they were saying. And I thought, and I even kind of commented on this. I think, Chris, you and I were kind of going back and forth. I was reading what you were writing, but why do we need Evan's permission to know what the laws are in the town that you're running?
Right.
Why is there no town manager? Why is there no town?
They have workshops for this. They have workshops. The government gives you these workshop things that you can go to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand it. And you know what really floored me? If you watch the whole video very closely, and what I hate about this is because when I'm in the county councils, I can at least go through and I'm typing in, telling people what to look for, right?
Yeah.
So but I can't do it because I've got the reception so bad in Lapel that I have to keep one on video and then one on Facebook. But they're passing things that are like a $50,000 bill.
Yeah.
And they're just now looking at it for the first time, passing it right there.
Yeah.
Oh, you people are telling me you don't get paid enough, and you're not even doing the work to be paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
So how many when something comes before your council, all right, say it's January 1st and they've got an ordinance that comes before the council. This is ordinance 0124. It's January 2024. How many readings and votes do they have to have before it's passed?
Oh, they skip them.
Oh, yeah, they used to do it on one until an attorney called them on it and said you have to do it twice. So what happened was they're trying to defund the parks, and they're saying that the parks didn't pay their stuff right, and the parks didn't do this, and the parks didn't do that. I'm scratching my head listening to this, and I'm thinking to myself, you people oversee the money. So if I wasn't turning my money in every month, wouldn't you say, hey, Katherine hasn't turned in money for 2 months. Maybe we should call her and find out where that money's at. That's what your responsibility is to do. So now you didn't do that. You feel that they've overspent, and now you want to take it over. You guys weren't even watching the whole books in the first place. I don't even know that you can be responsible for this. And you're always telling me how overworked you guys are and that you're not being paid enough. And now you want to take on another responsibility. This just doesn't make sense, people.
Yeah.
So what happened is they thought they were going to slide that ordinance through to take away the parks, the recreation thing, right? Finally, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, you're not going to do this on one reading. So finally, Evan looked at me and I looked at Evan and I put up 2 fingers because he knew what that meant. And then he said, no, we have to have 2 readings. And so you're only going to be reading it tonight. And then we can do another one. And I don't even know that they could do it. I guess they could because Chad had left. So you only had 4 people for that ordinance, right? And so they have to bring it back. Well, the thing is nobody even put it out there that we were going to have an ordinance. Christy Woodman asked this question in the video and says, you didn't even put this on the agenda.
No, it isn't.
So the right people couldn't even come to defend it. I mean, this is just shady all the way around. And you want respect. Well, you know what? Great. I'll give you some respect when you give me some transparency.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to preach it. You think I sat there and I took that from somebody and I'm not going to come back and say something? Oh, there's a time and place to be said, and I'm going to say it.
Absolutely. It needs to be said. And
sure.
What I find ridiculous about the Facebook stuff is everyone in these groups is saying, well, we don't have to be disrespectful and we're not, we should never be slanderous to each other. I don't find any of this to be slanderous. I'm sorry, the truth hurts.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this. The truth is going to hurt because it's a hard pill to swallow. Nobody wants to hear that what they've been doing is wrong.
That's the thing. All of these people, they don't like, and I found it in it's crazy because you figure like a bigger place would like be they would want to be more, play by the rules and be very kind of like pomp and circumstance kind of thing and just go through the pageantry of it all. But it's like these smaller communities are so much more concerned about this positivity, not being negative. Don't be negative. Don't be negative. And I started calling it toxic positivity. They're so worried about the negativity destroying their town. The toxic positivity to me is much worse. You're allowed to be passionate about what you're talking about. And it's okay for us to be able to yell or to scream or to be mad in government, for us to have debates and then be like, okay, all right, we're done, cool down, and then you walk away or be mad about it. It's allowed to be, you're allowed to be passionate. This idea that you have to not raise your voice and you can't get upset and you have to be, everything you have to say, it has to be pleasant. That's bullshit. You can't run government like that.
And here's the thing: for the small few people who were aware of the situation with LKQ, they tried to get somewhere. They tried to talk in their 3 minutes, and they were getting nowhere. So, what I want to tell the elected officials of Lapel, you did this to yourself.
Yeah.
You did not do your due diligence.
No.
And you silenced the public. And this was the outcome, because this is the only way anyone could speak. It was funny because even they tried to stop the attorney that came in to speak at the BZA at 5 minutes. And Mr. Graham had to say, you may want to give him a little more latitude because he is defending the remonstrators and there's more than just a couple of them. So we need to give him the ample time to be able to speak, and here's the thing. He threw down 300 pages that needed to be addressed. You're not going to do that in 3 to 5 minutes. It's not going to happen, And so just to clarify a little bit, the town council only meets once a month. They did have a special meeting last month. That's because of the LKQ situation. They are clarifying for me that Pam Shuck is Gary Shuck's wife. So what we're seeing is on almost every platform, you've got relationships to the council that are serving in these places. July had 2 meetings as well. So people are trying to get me some clarification, but in general, they meet once a month, usually is what they meet.
They've had special town meetings. I'm looking at it right now. I'm on their website. Special town meeting 426, special town meeting 522, special town meeting 530, special town meeting 69, special town meeting 720.
And so I would imagine
all of this to bring in the special stuff where nobody knows.
And I would imagine
that's exactly
LKQ. Yeah, and nobody knew what was going on, and so they don't. The other thing is somebody, Ryan, whoever you are out there, that you put up information and he talks about EPA violations. Well, we have this guy, Chris Farr. He comes in, right, and he's the guy that's going to sell us all this stuff. He does not work for LKQ. He's not paid by LKQ directly, like as an employee. He pays. He's I don't know, a contractor or something for LKQ to get this land and make this stuff happen. He's a salesman. So,
but he's still hired.
Somebody asked about the EPA, right? And he's like, well, I don't know about that. So one of our constituents in the galley says they have over $7 million in EPA violations. Now, LKQ and those guys are saying, hey, no, we're clean. We don't have these problems and all this, right? And so Chris Farr looks at him and he goes, anyone can Google. He goes, sir, that's not Google. That's a federal site we're looking at with those EPA violations. Now, why didn't somebody on our BZA turn in that man and say, sir, you are a guest in our town, and please don't talk to our constituents that way. They are concerned citizens, and they deserve a little respect. You see, that's how you get respect, when you stand up for your constituents. We can do a whole lesson here in how we earn and give respect.
Yeah.
And so here, this guy is allowed to speak to one of our people this way, and our people know that the answer, and you don't, and you're the salesman. No, that's just, and here's the thing, the town of Lapel, let me break this down to you. LKQ sent no one to represent them at the BZA. That is how much they think of your town.
Well, sure.
And if you don't get that these people are vultures, they do not care about your water. They do not care about your environment. They are here. Amy went out, and she was in Virginia. She went out and saw the new Virginia site that they just built. They've already got trash all over the place at their new site. I don't know how long they've been there. Then she went over and she looked at where they left. They just took a bunch of gravel and dumped it all
over. Covered it on top.
Put it right on top of all the stuff.
Did you drive there specifically for that?
Absolutely. No,
really?
I live between 3 states. So I'm
Listen, we're the Brockovich team over here, brother.
Yes. And so when I'm in Indiana, I'm working on Indiana stuff. When I'm in Virginia, I'm working on Indiana stuff. When I'm in Florida, I'm working on Indiana stuff, and vice versa. And that goes away. And so I'm in all these, Catherine's like, Amy, is there LKQ there? I was like, you know what? I'm going there this weekend. I'm going to find out for you. So I literally drive when I get into Indiana or to Virginia. I drove two different locations. They're about an hour apart from each other. And you see the old one and you see the new one. The old one, it literally has people coming in doing stormwater retention. Like they're cleaning up and they're digging out, they're excavating where LKQ was in Dumfries, Virginia. Please look it up. But they have a sign on their door that says, we no longer here, we've moved. And when you look at Google Maps and you look at that location right then and there, it shows cars stacked almost like a quarry would be, where it's like certain levels are dug out. You can see their cars. And I could see springs, almost like shocks or struts, buried in the ground, coming through the gravel or the granite or whatever the rock is that they throw on top of it. So mind you, this other construction company is coming in there doing a stormwater test. You can see like the Virginia EPA people with these books sitting out there. So I took pictures of all of it. I'm taking videos of everything. So you can see what LKQ does when they leave your land. That matters.
And whoever this Ryan is who's messaging me, I mean, he's just sending me at his fingertips the violations. I mean, $2.5 million in 2022 at their Keystone plant. Another one in 2022 was $2.5 million just in 2022. And you people want to bring this to our town? $300,000 in Virginia, right? They just had, and it was a town that they polluted the water. This is what people don't understand. And I thought I tried to sit and control myself in the BZA, right? When it comes to the health concerns, I'm pretty well versed in that. And they're like, well, IDM does their testing. They don't come and police you like you think they come and police you. It's when people start getting sick and we're calling and I'm saying, I got a track record here. I've got all these people getting sick. There's something going on. Then they start testing the water. Well, you know what? Let me ask you this. How easy is it to clean out the water?
Not
when
easy.
it gets into our aquifer, you're never going to get this clean again.
No.
Look at Camp Lejeune. Look at all those miscarriages. It was all in the water. I mean, we shouldn't. Somebody sent an amazing post this morning. I mean, he did an incredible job. I think the last name was Green. He really did a phenomenal post, and he said we shouldn't even be having this discussion. This should have died when they came. And you know what? In Pendleton, it died in Pendleton 7-0. They nixed it.
Really?
Anderson wouldn't even let him get in the front door. Well, you know what? While Lapel was sleeping, guess what we did? We started putting people in place to make sure we tipped the vote when we got 5. If Pendleton said 7-0, no.
Yeah.
And Anderson said, you're not even coming in our front door. What are you thinking? And then I got to listen to Noah Bozell say it's going to help our TIF. Here's the story, Lapel. Yeah. If you can't handle the money we have right now, giving you more money is not going to set the situation. You've got to figure out how to balance this checkbook first before you do anything else. What is wrong? And you want respect from me? Okay, well, I'll give you some respect. Here's some respect. Come talk to the businesswoman. Come talk to the woman who has sat in her seat for 10 years, who survived COVID. That's hard to do. Do you know only 20% of independent offices will survive COVID? They will close.
Yeah.
Not only did I do that, I brought a dental practice to our town, a 5,000 square foot dental practice. So I am bringing things to town. Somebody said to me, you just don't want companies to come here. Are you kidding me? I want companies. That's more for me.
Yeah, right.
This doesn't make any sense. And when you're ramrodding something through and your sister towns are telling them no, you're not thinking right. And I get it. Lapel is in great need of money, but it's never worth selling your soul. And here's what's going on. You are selling our community's water for a checkbook.
Here's what I want to.
No one's health has a dollar sign on it.
Katherine, how long have you heard about this? When did you first hear about this?
That's what I was talking to Chris when I was in the middle of the caucus, and Chris knew how busy I was with that. I was having my own demons with Russ, telling everybody I'm voting Democrat and I'm voting Republican. I got to deal with a Republican chair who's out there spewing lies about me, and I don't even. And I kept saying, people, quit texting me this stuff, quit email, and they said, and they just kept flooding me. And you know me, I don't know. I was going la 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 la. I couldn't do it anymore, and I just had to blurt it all out like Tourette.
So is that when it first came?
No,
So that's when it started to come to my front door. No, that's when I started to get notified. Yeah. But it looks like from all these special meetings, they were working this on the back end. So I imagine that it was always the idea that it would eventually come here. But see, it would look really bad if you came here initially, and then the vice president of ARCO lives in our town. So let's go over to Pendleton and see what we got. Let's go over to Anderson, and now we'll go here, and it doesn't look so suspicious. Now, again, that's speculation. I'm asking a question. Nobody's saying anything slanderous. But it looks awfully odd that you're caucusing all these people and appointing all these family members. It just looks really strange. You know, and I tell people all the time, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck,
So ARCO created the plan. If you look at the site plan if you look at the plans that are submitted to the Lapel Planning Commission, there's a 78-page document, there's a 51-page document, and when you look at these documents, there's so many different breakdowns, right? So what ARCO has done, ARCO is the design builder. They're the contract that LKQ is going to use to basically be their architect, be their engineers, be their designers for this thing. So ARCO has a kind of like a tentative plan that is date stamped in Lapel's Planning Commission for 12/22/22. Now, we know that Pendleton is the one that saw this before. I think their meetings were back in like February. So we know that could be
23.
Yeah, Pendleton was 23.
Yes. However, and when was that stamped?
12/22/22. So ARCO has already been contracted. ARCO's already been contracted with LKQ to create this design build, and it shows on there it's like a $35 to $45 million build or $1 million contract for ARCO. Remember, Landon Paddock, vice president of the Indianapolis branch of ARCO.
Now, Evan McMillan, let's back up right there. Evan McMillan says, but the Texas branch is going to be the one dealing with this Lapel project.
That's like saying LKQ.
He's over Indianapolis. He's over Indianapolis. He won't be involved in this. Okay, really? I've worked for big networks for a long time. I didn't just go into my own practice and never be anywhere else. You got your executive that's 2 miles from the facility. Anything goes wrong, you're not going to call on one of your executives to go figure it out. You're gonna fly people in from Texas to take care of this. I mean, come on. And here that's the thing. I am only fighting for the people. That's who I'm fighting for. And you know what? Landon Paddock, Dan Paddock, Brian Robertson, Cam Paddock, and all you people who sit out there, I'm fighting for you too. This is your water.
Well, even I respect the water issue, but what they should have done is they've known about Lapel, trying to get into Lapel since June. The first thing I've done.
Since June of 2022 or June of
2023. They did not let the people know. Greg Valentine is the one that kind of initially posted it August 17th.
And kudos to Greg Valentine. Kudos to Greg Valentine.
Yeah. He's
an amazing man.
Yeah, absolutely. He says,
you know what? But he only gets 3 minutes to talk.
Yeah. He said, hey, y'all need to go to this meeting. This is when it was at town council. He said, y'all need to go to this meeting and you need to vote no. Mind you, Greg Valentine is the Green Township trustee. So he's the one that's elected by Green Township, which is the town of Lapel, to stand up and vote and speak for the people. And he got up and he spoke for the people. But that was August 17th. Okay, so nobody even knows what's going on.
August 17th?
August 17th of this year. So a month ago.
In the July thing, to my thing, I was in Europe for 2 weeks with my daughters. They were studying abroad, so I missed that one because I was in Europe. It's a little hard for me to get over here.
But you should know a month before, in other words, what I'm trying to make the point is that the town of Lapel was not informed of this coming in until 1 month before all of this is taking place.
Yeah.
It was published in the Elwood paper.
Yeah. Well, that's not fair when it's Lapel. So then I think, okay, but then I'm looking at it. They're like, well, we didn't know about it. We didn't have, you're mad that people are coming forward because you didn't give us notice. And then I looked at the comprehensive plan for it, or that they presented to the Planning Commission. And I see the date stamp of June 7th, 2023 is the site plan. A site plan
Yep.
is a grading plan. It is something that like an architect has to go into.
Yeah.
And with urban development, it's a major thing. It's to scale. You've got an architect's signature on it. The site plan for Lapel is dated June 2023. So we know from June, July, and August, they're coming up with, how do we reword this? How do we rezone this? What planning commission, what town council, how do we get this to pass? Oh, let's go ahead and appoint Cam Paddock to the Board of Zoning Appeals, because I bet you that's been since June.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So do we know when these people took their seats?
We have to review the minutes. So we going back and looking at the minutes. All the minutes aren't there. So I've called the town hall 2 or 3 times, asked for the minutes. Mind you, I call and speak to Teresa Rutherford and I say, yes, Teresa, I need to see about getting these minutes. She says, oh, well, I haven't typed them up yet. Oops. Like, what do you mean? They're less like a month ago. She goes, well, they wouldn't be online yet because they're not approved. We have to go to the next meeting and then they get approved. And I'm like, okay, but you haven't typed them up yet. Do you even, and then when you look at the minutes, Chris, I would love for your input on this. Nothing is verbatim. Nothing is like, Amy
Oh no,
Chris said, Katherine said, No, this is all like, it's all summations. Like, well, you know, they talked about this and they discussed that. This person got up and gave their comment on this topic. Nothing is word for word. So
Well,
how do you really know what that was said?
Here's what's amazing. So you said that they stamped it for 12/22 of 22.
Yes.
Robertson was caucused in 10 of 22. Washmuth, who is I think she graduated with Landon, is my understanding, in high school. And again, I don't have anything against her. I'm just putting out the facts, people. That's all I'm doing. She caucused in November of 22, and then Bozo came in 21. Now,
don't let me get started on 21.
Mr. Valentine asked to be appointed to that seat in the BZA, and they told him, well, you know, you're an elected official. You can't hold 2 seats. And I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about?
Are you kidding me?
Robertson's on the planning and an elected official. I mean, come to Madison County. We got all kinds of elected officials appointed to different seats, holding 2 or 3 different seats. The Lycans are a perfect example of that.
Absolutely.
The Ridgelines are a perfect example of that. And the other thing that really irritated me is, because I know we've ran long and we've covered a lot of information. We're not going in circles. When they went through the town council at the end, they talk about all the different meetings that have taken place. They get to Brian Robertson and says, well, you cover the planning, because that's what he sits on. What happened at that? He said, oh, we had a planning meeting. We had public comment. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Right. He doesn't actually discuss.
You don't tell them, you don't give them a report that your constituents were upset, that you had a room full of people that were not happy. They had questions. These were their concerns. You speak for the people. You go and sit on that council for the people. Yeah. And you want me to say not to be mad. You want me to say not to be upset. Well, here's a newsflash. I'm not elected. I'm not appointed. No. But I took an oath to do the right thing to a newsflash, finish doctorates in my degree, to speak on behalf of the people. If I know that there's a potential harm to our water and I put my head in the sand, who am I?
Yeah.
Yes, that would make you a coward. That would make you someone that doesn't really care.
You know, and here's the thing. While everybody wants to bang on me, here's the deal. I could get filthy rich off of you guys getting sick.
Sure.
But why on earth would I even live with myself to be able to do that? I wouldn't even be able to sleep at night. You know, this afternoon, I went out and did a hospice call. An hour and a half away. And people want to worry about where I live? You need to worry about your water.
Go back to the minutes for a minute. Do they record? They might, and I understand they don't live stream. Do they record the meetings?
I don't know.
Is there a recorded transcript?
No, it's a typed up transcript. So prior to the town council meeting that happened 2 days ago, Dax Norton, who is hired, he is a consultant with MS Consultants. Prior to that, to my knowledge, there is no recorded audio. There's no recorded video. There's nothing recorded on the town. And it's lapelindiana.org. Lapelindiana.org. That is the town website. And when you click on the town website, you can literally go to the very bottom. It'll show you the agendas and it'll show you the minutes. It'll show you the calendar. Make sure you check all of the above, because while one would think that it would be shown in all the different places, it's not. But when you click on agendas, you can go to file, like a file explorer. It'll show you PDFs of everything that they're going to talk about. Y'all, it is overburdensome to have to open all of those documents when I don't understand most of what they're talking about. I'm sure y'all probably don't understand most of what they're talking about. So if Chad gets up and he says, we're normal people, we don't have a degree in this kind of thing, we don't understand anything about this law, we didn't go to school for this, we're normal everyday citizens. Well, guess what? I'm a smart everyday citizen. You've got a doctor sitting before you. You've got another amazing researcher sitting before you. And they don't know what this stuff is. So if we don't know and you're saying you don't know, then you need to get somebody that does, that works for the town, not a consultant, not some third party like Katherine said that's going to come in here and change all the rules and not even know the people. A town manager needs to be someone that's within the community, someone that is a part of it, working with the consultants. But the agenda, the calendar, and the minutes are all online. And you can see it. None of them are recorded.
So
I even tried to
read your line down there.
Motion made.
Go ahead.
Motion made by Noah and a second by his brother-in-law Brian.
For Cam, and that was done on June 15th of 23. All were in favor, and right after that motion, do you know what they did?
What?
The meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Of course they did.
And yes, I've got it right here.
That is ridiculous.
I mean, I thought the county was bad, but this is off the chain.
So, someone said, maybe it was you, Amy, did you say that is Chad up for election this year?
Chad's up for election. Gary Shuck's up for election. Is there only 2 seats up for election right now? Noah just won in 2022. Then we've got, and I want to say.
Okay, so Noah was caucused in 21 and then ran again in 22 is what you're saying.
He ran in 22. And then Lindsay, because I don't know. And see, when Chad said somebody needs to run, I'm like, but how long before the next seat is open? And I got to look into that and see when the next seats open up.
Yeah. And what are we talking? Are we talking town council seats? Are we talking like, is the planning commission, is that an appointed commission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are,
yeah.
The only thing that's elected it'd be your council. So is anybody running against these people?
Well, we're in the general. It was there, and now we're in the general, and no Democrats are running. So they're in. I mean, they're
yeah. So all right. So so that's what I was getting at. So it doesn't matter. So they're up for election, but it doesn't matter because no one's running against them.
Yeah. So they're a sure win here. So they can go in and vote for themselves, and they win. And I got to give it to Matt Wood. I don't want to forget Matt Wood tonight because Matt Wood is on the planning and he's appointed, and this young man is going to be something if he continues on, if he doesn't get so disgusted that he quits with all of this. But this young man, point blank, addressed the community at the planning, and he said, the only thing I can tell you at this point is I encourage you to run for these offices and get these people out of their seats. Yeah. That's the best advice I can give you. And see, at that time, that was on Thursday. That was before we had the BZA meeting on Monday. And you could see clearly in this planning, there's 3 on this side that voted no, and the 3 on this side that voted yes, right? And finally, somebody in the galley said, who voted yes? So 3 people raised their hand because it tied at 3-3. Out of those 3 people, Brian Robertson, the brother-in-law, Dan Paddock, the father, and then Paula Lee. So 2 of those 3 were a yes, and they were the relation. But Evans says no violations took place. He cited an Indiana code. He says that that's the correct code. I mean, he said, they called me. They asked me if they should vote or not. And I told them that there are no problems with it. So, this is like the Lycans. The Lycans doing the same thing. Hey, I'm going to run for commissioner. I know my son owes the county taxpayers $186,000. I'm going to come in here with Bridgewine. We're going to move this, and we're going to show that we're the muscle man. We're going to take that out of here. We're going to vote and take Gaskell out. so that Wes doesn't have to pay the money back.
Yeah.
And so Wes ends up paying $2,500 back. His buddy ends up paying $2,500 back, and the town or the county gets stuck with what, $160,000 or $70,000 that we had to pay as taxpayers. And then on top of it, you turn around and Rob Steele, Anthony Emery, Ben Gale, Jerry Alexander, boy, they're all in. They want to love those lichens. What do they do to the people? They raise your local income taxes so they can pay it. What is wrong with everybody? Do you not
That's
see what's
crazy.
happening? I mean, you know, the lichens run around in Teslas, in Lincoln Town cars. They can afford to pay their $170,000
Yeah.
bill.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that got stuck on the taxpayers. And then
Is
I gotta listen to somebody like Chad say to me, and you're suing the council? Well, do the right thing and you won't be in this position.
Yes. Yes.
Represent the
is this
people
Matt
what people
Wood?
signed up for.
is this Matt Wood?
Yes, and he's wonderful. That's Olivia, his wife. She is wonderful as well. You know, and that's the thing, Matt Wood. And if you watch the meeting for the council, he got up there and he made some pretty. I mean, he gave it to him. I'm proud of Matt Wood. That young man is got it going on, and he needs to be doing more. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, they need to get him in a position where he has a lot more strength that he can make some decisions for people because his head is on right. He wants to do right by the people.
Yes.
So
He's speaking for the people. Yes.
we've talked about something all night, but we've kind of buried the lead. Before we get out of here, why can you tell the people about the lawsuit?
Amy, if you want to speak on it,
I can speak on it.
Wait, so who's suing who?
So it's several different people in the town of Lapel.
So I'm not saying anything.
Yeah,
Just to
exactly.
make everybody
Catherine's not
clear.
legally allowed to speak on
And
it.
Amy, I don't know what she's going to say because I really haven't even talked to her about it.
I know exactly.
She's just
All I
been
know
watching
is
all
what
the
I've read.
films.
I do know that there is a handful of people that are coming against the town of Lapel, the town council. It's not the town of Lapel. It's not like we're suing town hall.
Yeah.
And I'm not part of it, but it's collectively, it's kind of, hey, you're poisoning the water. You did not give people the right to vote. I mean, I can give you some more information if we need to give it, but I don't know that we're allowed to do that, Catherine.
Let me ask you this: is it filed?
It
Yes.
is filed.
It is filed.
Do you have a cause number?
I can get-
Somewhere, I'm sure.
If you have a cause number, then I can just look it up, and what would be publicly, what would be their public would be public.
Yes, but what are you wanting to know about it so that way we know what I can.
I guess I'm just asking
I don't
what
have
it
the
is.
cause
Who?
number.
So what are you trying? So for example,
Making them pause.
making what?
Them pause and give people a voice.
Oh, okay. So you're it's not like you're asking like for like maybe like a moratorium or for them to slow
I'm
this
asking
down and
for
stuff.
an environmental study.
What?
I'm asking for an environmental study. I'm
Okay.
asking you to meet the criteria
Yeah.
that is put in place for the town in order for somebody to come into this position. That's all I'm
Okay.
asking for. And let me ask you something. Should I
And to-
really be the one asking for that?
No.
The elected officials should have been asking for that.
Yeah.
These
If you look
consultants should have made sure that this was put in place. You're paying a consultant firm, and they didn't even make sure these things were done.
So in the
Your
ordinance,
appointed people didn't make sure these things were done.
and let me tie some things together. There's an ordinance, the county ordinance, the state ordinance. I don't know if there's local ordinances. So in order for ordinances to get changed, and y'all can look this up, the Madison County Council of Governments had to establish a thoroughfare plan. I don't know what thoroughfare means other than a traffic plan, a land use plan, something to show what we're going to do with the county for the next 20 years, 30 years, etc. So in order for you to change ordinances and zonings and you to rezone these properties, you have to create your own comprehensive plan. So what did Lapel do in 2021? They worked with the Madison County Council of Government, MCCOG, to create their own thoroughfare plan. Chris, I know you have to be familiar with this when it comes to Delaware County, because they're also part of this. The same people that created our MCCOG page are the same ones that did Delaware's as well. There's like 14 different ones within the state. Either way, so they go in and they create a comprehensive plan in 2021 in Lapel. They're supposed to petition people and say, hey, we're doing a survey. Guess what? There are 2,400 registered voters in the town of Lapel. Out of 2,400 registered voters, and I know that because I've studied a lot of the voting, and they've only petitioned 111 people for a survey. Out of 111 people for this survey, 41 of them said they are not good with this being an industrial use site. 50 of them or so did not even respond to it. So 111 people, 41 of them say we do not want this. Four people said that they wouldn't mind it being light industrial. Yet in this comprehensive plan that they're putting out there, they're saying that LKQ is presenting, they're like, hey, we want this. You know, we even agree with, we're supporting what the people want. No, 4 people said they wanted it. 41 people said they were not okay with it. So where are you coming up with this information out of 2,400 registered voters? That matters. That matters when you're lying like that and you're taking and you're twisting the truth. So either way, this comprehensive plan took place in 2021. Then Lapel LKQ tries to come in. It just shows that they've been behind this for a while.
For a while.
Dan Paddock and Gary Shook are on the steering committee for the comprehensive plan. What does that tell you? Like, they knew this was coming in 2021. They've been steering for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wild.
No, it's corrupt.
So tell me when the next meetings are for Lapel.
October 9th is one that's coming up. I know
October 9th is what?
I will tell you. I'm actually on that page right now. So next month, the regular Board of Zoning Appeals meeting is going to be at the station, October 9th at 6 p.m.
Wait, okay. October 9th, 6 p.m. is the what?
The Board of Zoning Appeals.
Board.
The BZA.
Zoning Appeals.
And the agenda is posted online.
Okay.
And it tells you exactly what they're going to do. Continued from September 18th meeting. Review of a special use application to approve a salvage yard special use in the general industrial zoning district. How did it get to be rezoned to general industrial zoning? Because that's not light industrial. How did it even get to that? But that's besides the point. Petitioner, LKQ Midwest, Randy Smith, and FMC Advisors, LLC, Chris Farrer. Pretty sure the state law or the town ordinance states that the petitioner has to be the owner of the property. They don't own the property. LKQ does not own that property. It is still in Carolyn Wilson's name, and I'm pretty sure she's still alive. So the petitioner has to be in the owner's name. It has to either be presented by the town council or it has to be presented by the planning commission. Those are the 3 options that the ordinance states can petition for this to zoning appeals to even happen. So how is LKQ petitioning anything? Because that goes against the ordinance. Property owners, Carolyn Wilson and Wilson Land Trust. So there's no new business coming to the docket. It is literally just this. So that's on there. Please review revised staff reports with exhibits. There's remonstrance letters. There's all kinds of shit. When you look on the agenda, it's there. So October 9th, 6 p.m. at the station.
Okay.
The next one would be same week on the 12th at 6:30 is the planning board meeting.
October 12th is planning board meeting.
Yep, at 6:30 at the Eagles on 9th Street. It is open to the public and available online.
30 p.m. October 12th planning board meeting. Okay.
Yep. And then the park board meeting is going to be on the 17th. Park board meetings are held at 7 p.m. at Town Hall.
That one really needs to be looked at. They're missing $95,000. And if you watch the planning, or the council of minutes, Chris, it appears that maybe Chad might have done his own audit and he says it's accounted for. I'm a little confused by that. You should really watch that. I didn't know we could do, I don't know.
What time is that park board meeting?
That's at 7.
7.
And that's at the town hall. That says it. Okay, now this isn't very specific. There's no agenda. This is more of like an overarching kind of tag for what this is, because it says park board meetings are held from 7 p.m. at Town Hall on 9th Street and are open to the public. That's all it says, and that's on the 17th.
Okay.
And then
And
the
then-
19th.
Yep, 19th. Yep, go ahead.
Wait, what?
The 19th will be the land redevelopment and then the town meeting. The town-
October 19th is land redevelopment.
Yeah, that's kind of what Katherine was saying was 2 minutes long. It lasted a whole 2 minutes.
Okay.
They literally came in and out. It wasn't
And-
even really a thing that they wanted to talk about.
Okay. And then also on the 19th is city council.
Yes, yeah, directly following town council.
Listen,
What time
that
is it?
love
What
to
time?
see you there, Chris.
What?
That's a 7. Isn't that 7?
Yep, and it's at the Eagles as well.
Eagles.
The Eagles is like their kind of
You
like
know,
a local bar
You
restaurant.
know, the Eagles, like,
Like you're going to, I don't know, like an American Legion, but
For
it's-
real? Is that where they meet?
yeah. There's a boardroom, conference
yeah.
room.
And you can hear all the partying going on next door and the drinking and the hooping.
How is that?
Oh, did you find something else?
What's this?
I think that's still under investigation.
Ooh.
Potential price gouging under investigation after utility bills skyrocket in Lapel.
Who was in charge? Who was? Oh.
Thursday,
Chad
Chad
Blake.
Blake, the town council president, Lapel, announced the town received a bill for nearly $500,000. This is nearly $200,000 more than the town projected for the entire year.
When was that? What was the date on that?
I think that's 3 years ago. I think it's still under investigation. Kind of like how the missing $95,000 from the Parks Department is still under investigation. It's been missing for 4 or 5 years. And
Yeah.
again, I'm not insinuating anything. I'm just bringing up the topics. And here's the thing. People know how busy I am. People are researching stuff, but they're too afraid to bring it out themselves. Hence the reason why Chris has a job doing this, and I spend my Saturday nights with Chris doing this.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So just so you know, there's an update on the town website from about the LKQ proposal. So a couple weeks ago, there was initially the update from Evan McMillan himself, the attorney, saying, basically shaming Katherine, going, you should not be posting on social media. And this is that's what he said. This is egregious.
Yeah.
So when you go to the actual,
I keep getting scolded in these meetings for telling the truth.
yeah, it's just ridiculous the way that this is working. So when you go, there's a new update, LKQ proposal, special use, and she just
Wait,
posted,
is this on Facebook?
No, this is on the lapelindiana.org.
Okay, so this is on Lapel. Okay, wait.
Yeah, pull up lapelindiana.org and go to news at the very top.
Go to news at the top.
Mm-hmm.
On Lapel, and we go to the news at the top.
Mm-hmm. And then the first thing you'll see is the LKQ proposal update. Then you'll see below that, scroll to the next one, you'll see the concerning the LKQ rezone. This is the town council attaching a letter from Evan McMillan and his attorneys about this. But the update is what's just posted. So 2 days ago, Oksana posted this. She's the MS Consultants.
Oh, I haven't seen
Okay,
this.
wait, hold on. So what?
I haven't even seen this.
What's the update called?
This is the update. So she's letting Katherine, you read.
Oh, they're letting the people know during the BZA public meeting September 18th, the BZA continued the review of LKU's special use application to the next meeting on October 9th at the station at 6 p.m. The attendees requested access to the written information that was submitted to the BZA during the public meeting. Yes, this was all prepared by the people's attorney. The agenda for this upcoming meeting is located here. The files submitted to the BZA by the public and additional exhibits submitted by the staff during the meeting are attached to this agenda. The staff also added a few files to the applicant's submittal that were submitted by the applicant, but were not in the previous online staff report file. Warranty deeds and seal. So see what I mean? That the people are holding people accountable. We're actually doing the work and I'm being yelled at. I don't understand any of this. While the state law prohibits anyone from contacting BZA members directly with the intent to influence their decision on the application going through the reviews, the law allows the staff to submit written files to the BZA at least 5 days before the meeting. If you'd like to submit additional information to the board before the meeting, please email Oksana at this. So you can't talk to any of the BZA members.
Yeah, if they can talk to their family members, you know they're going to.
So you
Yeah.
have to, how do I know Oksana's going to get, I got to tell everybody, there's a Russell Cate he's an attorney. He's amazing. He is representing the people. If you send anything to Oksana, you may want to find Mr. Cate online. I don't know. I would think you'd want to submit it to him too. And anybody who wants, should give information, I would give the information to him as well to make sure your stuff actually gets through to the BZA then. I didn't know all these rules. So, but I'm glad she put it out there and everybody knows now, but I want to know who else we can copy on that.
Well, I think it's interesting that it says the staff also added a few files. Staff meaning the town hall people, okay, town hall, the town council, or the BZA, the Board of Zoning Appeals staff, whatever that staff is, added a few files to the applicants, so the applicant being LKQ, to the applicant submittal that was submitted by the applicant, but were not in the previous online staff report file. Why weren't they in the online previous staff report file? This was a 78 file or 78 page file. Why is it?
That's ridiculous.
Why was it not there? There's a 78 page one and then there's a 51 page one. And I only know that because another lady that posts on comment all the time on the groups on Facebook, she actually took a screenshot of the picture.
I don't want anything but to protect the people, their water and their environment. Why you would want a salvage yard coming into town, 100 acres of it blows my mind. I don't even know why you would want that. And the thing is LKQ came in and said they're not a junkyard. They're not any of this. And they said that in the beginning, all the way when it was back in the planning. Well, then why are you in front of the BZA asking for a special zone? Because you are a junkyard. But, Chris, I know we've kept you long tonight. There's a lot of things going on in Lapel. This is only one thing. I mean, we didn't really even get to touch on the LKQ. I know you've got a lot of things going on in Delaware County that you got to hit. I know you got a lot of things going on in Henry County. If there's a time we want to reconvene on another night, we're happy to do that. If we want to start making Saturday nights our Madison County night, we can certainly do that. Whatever you want to do.
We can do that.
I want the people to know. I'm not doing this to hurt anybody. I'm also doing this to protect the Paddox family as well.
Sure.
Everybody is important, and your water is one of your most precious gifts besides your air. And when people ask me, when you look at somebody in their eyes and you tell them that they have got a cancer that is from the environment, that they led a clean and good life, how do you explain to them that there's nothing they did, but our elected officials didn't do their job? How do you explain that to them? I've got a brother and two sisters that I've taken care of, all three of them, their family members. I ran genetics on all three of them. They have been lifelong Madison County residents. All three of them have a similar cancer. None of it is genetic. But we started to go back and look at where they lived. And they lived by this area in Madison County. And I'm guaranteeing you that's why one has since died. And two of them are, so the interesting thing is there's a Dr. Steele up in Alexandria, a dentist. And he started putting together people were getting sick up there. Now he has since passed, and he was keeping his own log of people getting sick and where they lived. And he was starting to find a coordination as well. People, the environment's real. I'm not fighting on this to bang my chest. I'm not fighting on this because I want to stir up problems within the community. And I'm actually pretty resentful over the comments that were made, Perhaps if you would have brought the medical person to the table who said, what are the dangers with this company? You'd be looking at this from a whole different point too. Because I can guarantee you, one guy I said, what would you do if your loved one or your child got sick from LKQ? He said, I'd burn the building down. That's what you're going to cause. You're going to cause a civil war over your aquifer. And here's the thing. The aquifer doesn't just feed Lapel. It goes into Futures.
Yes.
It goes into Pendleton. And here's the thing I've been made aware of today. Citizens also shares that aquifer. They had no idea this was going on. And now they've just got word of it yesterday. And they're getting ready to get into all this. This is much bigger than us. And I am sorry that it had to come to the table this way. But you should have told people what was going on. It should have been an open door policy. And why, for whatever reason, I'm taking the hit on this that's fine. Because if I save every one of these guys from not being a Flint, Michigan, I mean, look at the oil rigs out on the Gulf.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody thought that would bother them. And it's been 13 years, and we're still trying to bail ourselves out of that. It's still affecting the Gulf as it is today.
Right.
There are dangers in everything we do. Someone on the chatter was banging on me. I mean, just totally going off about what do I know and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, well, I was hauling in this vehicle to DSA, which is an auction place right there by where they want to go in. He goes, and I was bringing in this thing and it was leaking hydraulic fluid and blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm saying. You're going to tell me this is going to be placed on a gravel area, that you're bringing these vehicles in from accidents and they're already leaking, that they're not going to leak in the drive. They're not going to leach through the gravel and everything. I mean, even Mr. Smethers said, you guys aren't even thinking right. Let me tell you something. No matter how clean you want to be, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. What happens in 20, 30 years when this warehouse is now antiquated?
And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It will be my children who will come back. Yes, my children will come back and say, we will finish this fight for our mom and clear her name because she just wanted the best for the people. That's all I wanted. And that's what the amazing thing is listen to the people who've done this for a living. They're smarter and wiser than anyone with a doctorate's degree. They've lived this life. They know the dangers. Listen to these people. I know people right now, and maybe this is a question they should pose to Mr. Valentine instead of running around and talking behind everybody's back. I'm listening to people say, well, this is no different than the farmers spraying the chemicals on their plants, and what's that doing to our aquifer out there? Well, you know what? You got Mr. Valentine. He's been a lifelong farmer. He's got generations. Ask him the question and let him answer you from a professional side. And I got news for people. This 100 acres that you're going to give up to LKQ, which whatever, it feeds hundreds and thousands of us every year. We're not making more farmland. So if you want to be productive, if you're going to sell this off for whatever reason, you better make sure you've made a good decision. And that good decision doesn't mean sacrificing your aquifer because you think you're getting $1.2 million a year for your TIF when you can't even manage or find the money we've got right now. Come on.
When Noah said that the other day in the Channel 8 Wish TV or whatever it was that he did that interview, he mentioned the nepotism and he mentioned TIF. I've never even heard those words. I mean, I've heard nepotism, obviously, and but it was conflict of interest was the word that was the statement that kept being said was conflict of interest. But what is TIF? Because I don't even know what that is.
Are you talking about a TIF district?
It's he said something to do with finances and TIF.
Yeah. So TIF.
I'm asking so people can understand what that is. That's not. I've already Googled it. But
so a TIF district is just a district where it's really a convoluted thing. A lot of people hate it and they don't like it. Some places totally get rid of it. For example, it's where if you have an area that has a lot of housing or you have an area that has a lot of business, you're able to call that a TIF district, which is a tax increment fund or something like that. And you're able to take the money from that out and not use it in that area. You can use it to specialize things like for schools and such and different things. So
what did he mean by that then? Like, what does he mean? Like the TIF is what he wants to use it for other things?
So TIF districts a lot of times if you want to bring a business in, you're going to take out some kind of bond.
Yeah.
Okay.
For property taxes or for improvements to the area so the company can come in. Okay. And so you set up this TIF district. So you have this flat rate that's worth. So you say it's the land's worth $10,000 a year in property taxes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the company comes in and that shoots up to now it's $100,000 in property taxes every year.
Okay.
Okay. So $10,000 that we started at still goes to the general fund. Everything else that it's above that, the 90,000 goes to the TIF. And if we've taken out a bond, we can use that money for paying off the bond, or we can use that money inside the TIF district for improvements. If we need roads paved or whatever, that you can use that money for.
Is that used for blight? Is it ever used for blight within the area?
You can use it for things like blight in an area.
Would you use it for changing more zoning district places or paying for consultants or having 3 different consultants within the county? Because
That doesn't really
within the
sound like
town.
there's anything they would use that for. That doesn't sound really like it.
No,
But-
because why would you, after you've had the TIF set up, you wouldn't have a need for consultants. You might pay for an attorney to go over the TIF funds and check
so
to make sure that things are being used correctly. But the TIF is already set up. So what do you need consultants for?
There you go.
Yeah.
So, but TIF funds are really weird. And this is something you might want to contact the State Board of Accounts about regarding the TIF. TIFs are not very well regulated. They don't go in and they don't check on them very often. And this is coming from an attorney here in Randolph County, who was talking to our redevelopment commission in a meeting. And he said, this one's set up a little bit weird, but don't worry too much about that because they don't really look into them. It's a little wonky and it might be problematic, but they don't look at them. So don't worry about it.
So does anyone see that connection where Noah Bozell, they say nothing about the TIF in the interview process, anything? He's wearing his blue blazer and he's standing there looking all professional. He mentions things that are not even mentioned ever before. He mentions the TIF and he mentions nepotism. There's
So is that area
about,
already a TIF?
he said it's something to do with the TIF. He wants the TIF in. So I would have to look back over.
They want to create a TIF around this.
I think so. I think they
Hey,
want to create this around.
Is this a meeting that is recorded?
No, that was an interview done by a news
Yeah, it was
channel.
on
Oh,
Channel
it was
8.
done by the news.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
Channel
there's
8.
a transcript online for that too. But that's what I'm saying. There's nothing spoken about this, but Noah mentions it. And so that's where I'm kind of like, are you sticking foot in mouth? Like, that's how I see that. Maybe that being 22 years old, he doesn't know what he should or should not speak about. But he just kind of led on that that's what's going to happen with this money is they're going to bring in $2 million or $20 million in tax revenue, and they're going to put it in a TIF.
Okay, TIF district viewer. All right. Now I just need to figure out where Madison County is on an Indiana map.
What?
It's just northeast of Fishers, or it's
It's just
It's
west of
below you
Delaware
guys.
County, man.
It's just
Oh,
below
wait.
you.
Okay. Wait. No, they have a nice list here. So I can just scroll down. I don't have to find it. Thank
She's
God.
from Ohio. She don't know what's going
I'm
on.
from Ohio. I'm sorry.
go 69.
I didn't take Indiana history and stuff. So
Jesus.
Chris, I just
I
sent
can
you
find Ohio
I just
County.
sent you the news clip on Wish. Maybe you could play it while we're looking at some definitions here real quick.
Where did you send it to me at? In
On
Messenger?
I sent it to Kate on her phone. I sent it to you on your text on your phone.
Okay. She did. So
Oh, on my phone?
Yeah, I can send it anywhere you want.
Oh, send it to me in Messenger,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I'll play it while she's looking that up.
okay, so it looks like there's a couple of TIF districts over in Lapel.
Mm-hmm.
Lapel tax allotment area.
There you go.
Let's see here. Do you
It's a
have-
great news piece.
Okay.
Channel 8 did an amazing job.
Yeah, they really did. They
So
covered
it's Shelby Gravel.
Yep. They're
Oh,
right. Okay,
yeah,
so
that's-
the gravel backs up to the same property.
Right. And here's the
That's
thing.
confusing.
They've got violations, but we've got nobody to enforce the violations. So that you should listen to that in the planning thing that Evan's like, well, we're looking at some violations, but we're really not sure how to enforce those violations because we really don't. And then they said, well, we're going to do it. And then Christy Worthman, love her soul. She is just amazing. She goes, you took that line item out of the budget. You don't even have anything that you can fine these people with because you took it.
God.
Ordinance enforcer or a code enforcer.
I mean, those last 3 meetings have been great. So, Chris, you got the clip in your messenger. It should be there.
Yeah, here we go.
That's good stuff.
Wow.
Oh, Kate, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about the TIF. Now I'm
Well,
all
wait till
ears.
you see this video from Channel 8. You know, when you get over 90 seconds on a news clip, you know you're onto something.
Right.
Because they don't give you that much time. I think it was almost 2 minutes or something.
And what is said is very important. They say that
Oh,
the
it
list
is.
was
People need to
recently
listen to
annexed.
that. I've watched it 3 or 4 times.
All right, here we go.
The town of Lapel has been considering allowing a junkyard on land the town recently annexed, but there's been resistance. News 8's Daniel Zolkowski has the results from tonight's meeting.
The request to rezone a parcel of agricultural land to industrial to accommodate a new salvage yard in the town of Lapel has been met with some pushback, but ultimately the Board of Zoning Appeals decided to continue the hearing to the next meeting.
LKQ is an auto salvage business looking to open a new salvage junkyard facility in the town of Lapel, where it will take usable parts to resell and then store the car bodies outside of the facility.
I think that the financial portion that that from TIF that it would bring to the town, that's a good reason because we're a small community and we don't have a lot of funds.
Critics of this proposal are concerned that cars that have yet to be scrapped will leak hazardous fluids into the ground and contaminate the water.
They're promising we will never leak a fluid out of a vehicle. Accidents will happen. This is mechanical. Yeah. Something will break, something will leach into the ground.
Citizens say there is a conflict of interest between Landon Paddock, the vice president of Arco Design Build, a company that could construct the facility for LKQ, and Landon Paddock's family members in the town council and planning commission. Town legal counsel says there is not a conflict of interest according to Indiana state law because the two identified family members, Councilman Brian Robertson and Mr. Dan Paddock, the vice president of the planning commission, are not dependents of Landon Paddock.
There's a relationship
Amen.
between the developers of the new proposed facility and one of the planning commission members' son.
I'm not aware of any conflict of interest. There was someone on the council that they were questioning if they should vote on this, and our legal team found no nepotism.
The meeting was continued after new findings were presented to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Attorney Russell Cate, representing the concerned citizens, presented evidence of potential harm from salvage yards to the environment. He also presented evidence of over $3 million in Environmental Protection Agency violations from LKQ to the board.
This issue will be discussed during the next Board of Zoning Appeals meeting on October 9th at 6 p.m. in the town of Lapel. I'm Danielle Zolkowski for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so that is what you were saying. So that's what he's talking about is they would make that a TIF, and basically it would just bring in a lot of money that they could then use
However they wanted to without any accountability. That's ultimately what I got from Kate.
And the 2 gentlemen that were speaking, Mr. Valentine was
Okay.
The screen was on the left, and Mr. Smethers on the right. Both gentlemen have a PhD in life, one in farming and one in the automotive industry. They cover everything. So I'm not sure, but those are the 2 people you probably want to be listening to more than anybody else.
Until you have an environmental study done by
go.
a local environmental study, not a national, not a worldwide.
Right.
That's what they're going based off of.
And they're saying these carcasses of these bodies, they call them carcasses, they sit on the lot for 540 days. And they're going to be okay. So you mean rodents aren't going to be in there? You mean that the rain that's on the
Rainwater collecting? Yeah.
Nothing. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was born at night, but it wasn't last night.
Amen to that.
And I'm in medicine. I'm not even in the automotive industry. But if you want to talk about TIF, Kate, I mean, I'm all ears because this was all new to me.
Yes,
Okay,
I would love to.
So there's one TIF already set up that has value to it. The other one, it's not showing me anything. It's showing 0000 across the board. So those.
What are the names of them?
Okay, so the one is the Shelby Gravel.
Okay.
Giving Hope Foundation.
Okay, so Shelby Gravel, they have it set down to one little piece of this land. Mind you, it's probably a good 50 to 100 acres as well. And it backs up. It is literally on the south side, maybe it's the west side, whatever's
And
closest.
the lights glare into the homes of the people, which it wasn't supposed to. They're running trucks. They're making gravel noises, doing all this stuff. And the neighbors who live out in this area, that was not that they were promised. And then Evan says, you got to watch the planning because this Shelby comes up a lot in this planning thing. He's like, well, we're going to look at maybe finding them some things and maybe they're violating some things. They were just supposed to be a temporary thing and now they're long-term and they're not supposed to be. I'm thinking if you guys can't control this, how are you going to control a $15 billion company?
Yeah.
So the hope part of it is all of the rest of the land is almost put into this trust or this other name, or maybe it's their nonprofit, maybe it's their tax write-off. I don't know. But this other part of the Shelby Gravel, the majority of it is put in that Hope Project thing. Only a small little bitty slither of square is actually Shelby Gravel. Just FYI, if anybody wants to go. And you know how I found that out? On the county website, you can go to GIS mapping, you can go to the treasurer, you can go to the land surveyor, you can go to the property appraiser, and it will give you all of that information for Madison County.
Okay.
I wish people would know that. Like I'm wanting people to hear that and say, wow, I mean, I can go look at Madison County's and tell you that the lichens own 100 different properties within Madison County.
Right.
Absolutely you can. That the paddocks own over 20 properties in Madison County. In Lapel alone, yes, absolutely you can. Like major pieces of property. These are not little pieces of like, oh, she owns, a half an acre over here. And, my mama owns an acre and a quarter over there. No. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of acres in Madison County are owned by these two families.
Okay. So someone just sent me and said, so this TIF is they're asking, is this why our taxes have gone up considerably this last year?
So the TIF shouldn't affect taxes. Okay.
No. Yeah.
TIFs don't affect taxes. So your tax rate's going to stay the same. It just happens to be that if your home is within that TIF district, so like there's a couple TIFs here in Winchester in the city that are like residential areas because they redid a road. So they took out a bond to redo a road and they put that in a TIF to help pay that bond off. So your property taxes don't get affected. Just if your house increases in any value, the increase goes to the TIF fund.
It'll go to the TIF. Yeah, it doesn't.
How do we know? How do we know where the Shelby one cut? What the lines are for that?
So if you go to Indiana Gateway, IndianaGateway.com.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So fabulous resource if you're looking up anything in Indiana. Yeah, I love it. So there's actually you can look up TIF districts.
Okay.
And you can break it down by county.
So is that report search or download data? Oh, TIF district.
It's called TIF district. Yep, I mean, it is stupid easy to use Indiana Gateway. I love that thing.
And I know right where Madison County is, so I'm going to go right to it.
Okay. Well, I found it finally. It's a long, long rectangle. Northeast of Indy. I can do that.
Yeah, it goes vertical. Exactly. Right in the center, just kind of east and long rectangle. Right. It's a very big county. It's 433 square miles. This is a huge county.
Oh, yeah.
So you can go in there and then you can scroll down. When you find Madison County, you can scroll down and it breaks it up by town, what the towns are that hold the TIFs. Or if it's a county one, the county holds the TIF. So if you scroll down, you'll see that there's two. One of them has zeros across the board as far as value goes, which means they haven't done anything with it. They've started establishing it, I guess, or talked about it, but nothing happened with it, or they haven't done it yet, or it's one it shouldn't be one they've paid off because that should show that it's been paid off.
It's probably one that they just started just for them to use this with. I mean, that is why Noah's talking about the TIF, and nobody knows what the heck a TIF is. Kate, you're the only person I know that can break this down, and I still don't fully understand it, but I will, because now I want to know why this matters.
Yeah.
There's a certain group of homes that all of these, I don't want to say all, majority of these naysayers or these people that were fighting, they all live in these certain subdivisions and a certain area. And that area kind of trickles into another big area that is owned by Paddock Enterprises. And that's also a huge part of the town. And they wanted to annex that in too on the comprehensive plan, just as how they've wanted to annex this land in on the comprehensive plan.
And I don't think the paddock thing is related to our paddocks. I don't know. I've been asking that question if it's a coincidental name or if they are related, because this paddock, I think they're like Wisconsin or something. So that'd be interesting to find out if there's a relationship with that.
Yes.
I only know about TIFs because as a consolation prize for not winning county council, I was asked to be on the redevelopment commission. So I did a lot of research to learn about what TIFs are, what they're supposed to do, what the one that they were putting me on the board for was. And that lasted about 5 months, and I couldn't stand what I was smelling from the thing. So I resigned.
So the Redevelopment Commission in Lapel, it's called the Redevelopment Commission's Steering Committee. Gary Shook is the president. Dan Paddock is the vice president. Paula Lee is a member. Are those names not familiar to what we've already heard a dozen times?
I know we got more than 10 people who live in Lapel.
Yeah, right.
And maybe the reason why people aren't stepping up. Say that again.
TIFs, they don't audit them. And so what happens with that money? California outlawed TIFs.
Yeah, they outlawed them.
Good.
California,
because it was
you think about
so
California,
easy to embezzle it.
Yeah. We're still doing something that California outlawed.
Yeah, California outlawed it. And if California's outlawing something, you must know it is horribly corrupt, because normally they're all over that shit.
Now, you said Shelby Materials is the one that owns the first one, right?
No, they don't own it, but they're in it. Okay. So Shelby Gravel is part of it, Giving Hope Foundation, and then you have to go in, and I did actually a property search on it for the other two that are in there. One of them was only $400, so I didn't bother looking that one up. But the other one that's listed on here, when I do it in the GIS and do that property number, it's showing me, oh nuts, I switched over to something else. Give me a second.
I've looked at the GIS mapping. I know exactly what you're talking about. As a matter of fact, I'm going to it right now. I
just want the viewers to know that I hope they're enjoying learning all of this stuff. This is really how I get things done. If anybody really wanted to know how I work, here you go. It's brainstorming. We talk to people. We are very respectful to one another. And this is really how it's done. This is how Chris does it.
It's networking, yeah.
This is how you get things done. You bring people from all different areas. I really don't care where Chris lives. I don't care where Kate lives. If we've all got a brain and we can have a focus group, let's get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Giving Hope Foundation Incorporated is 0 West 650 South, Lapel, Indiana.
So this is Lapel Apartments LLC.
Oh, you know which apartments those are, Amy? They're the ones right next door to my office that just went up. That's what it is. It says Joe Shetterly is the founder of Giving Hope Foundation, realized he had a purpose and was given the vision to start the Giving Family Hope Center. I think that's the apartments they're talking about. I think that's what they're talking about.
It's saying 959 East 4th Street.
959.
Well, that could be.
Is that Lapel?
Yeah, it's Lapel. Unless that's up in the center of town. This one would be off of State Road 13.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the one down by the piece of land.
Somebody's going to clarify, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, Kate, if you're on the GIS mapping, just go south. Like when you're going out of town, like literally on that page, you see State Road 13. You see a white 13.
Yep, I see it.
South. When 13 and 38 cross, that's what you're looking for. Is 13 and 38. 38 kind of comes at a slant. And it's called Hartscrabble. I don't know if you can see Hartscrabble on the GIS mapping. I'm on Madison County Council of Government GIS. But you could be looking at a state GIS.
There is state GIS.
So look for the major intersection. It's not far. I'd say it's, I don't know the actual mileage, maybe 2 miles away, 4 miles away, where this intersection comes.
I see it.
30. So go to 38. That corner on the southwest corner, you'll see a piece of property that kind of has like a slant on it.
Yeah.
And then you can see the gravel. You can see the actual mining site for this gravel company in that little vicinity of that square. So before you get to 700, or no, 650, it's right on 650 and 13.
Yep.
Bam, there's Shelby gravel right there.
Yeah, those are the apartments, Cindy, or Amy. They're the ones right there east of the office, the ones that just got built.
Yes.
Right there.
That's them. One of Dean's friends lives in there. Yes.
So that's the TIF district.
That is the TIF. But if you look at Shelby Gravel Incorporated, it shows one little bit of the mining process. They're actually their retention pond, and the rest of that piece of land is the Giving Hope Foundation. So the retention pond for Shelby Gravel and the Giving Hope Foundation is all owned by Giving Hope Foundation. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm going to find out who owns Shelby Gravel. I want to know what you follow the paper trail. Follow the money.
Yeah, follow the money, follow the names.
Money, and you'll follow the paper trail.
So now you're in Indiana Secretary of State business entity search.
Yes, to find out who owns this, who is the registered agent, how, who does the reporting. It's up. Okay, so if you look at this Shelby Gravel, right above it is the land that is going to be redone for this LKQ. There's a river that runs through it, Mud Creek.
Well, then I'm surprised they just aren't trying to extend the TIF district if one's going to butt right up into the other.
Maybe they will.
I'm wondering, when was this stupid thing established?
Does that show on your website as well?
Oh, this was in
totally
2019.
Live if you want.
It hasn't been in existence for that long, so it doesn't make sense. Because usually TIFs, when they set them up for a 20 to 30 year thing.
Yeah.
Where you've got 20 to 30 years to get that bond paid off. So it's just
it's all interesting.
It is interesting. But it's confusing why they wouldn't just extend the TIF district length to recreate the TIF, including this new property.
And maybe they will. Maybe that's what they're going to do.
That might be what they're planning to do.
Mm-hmm. How would we know? Often is this updated for the TIF?
The TIFs, they update that annually.
Yeah.
It has to be updated annually. So that's kind of bizarre to me. Are they talking about is the town planning to give them some kind of tax incentives? Is there work that needs to be done prior to this salvage yard horse crap coming in? What kind of money would the town be putting forward that they would need a bond and need to set up a TIF?
Katherine, do you have any answers on that? Because I really wouldn't know.
Say that again.
She said, what kind of bond would be needed? What is the town putting forward?
I'm sure they would have to do a lot of work.
Well, that's what they got MS for. That's and if you listen to the planning, that's what they're working on right now.
MS, they brought MS on in April. April 26th is when they go to the town and they say, hey, we want to approve this contract for consultants to do blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So in April, you knew that you were going to ask.
So is the town paying for the consultant, or is the TIF paying for the consultant?
Wait a minute.
Right now, the town is.
If they're
wait a minute.
The TIF, then they can use money.
Well, yeah.
Taxpayers are paying for it, right?
I did not mean it that way. I just meant out of what fund is it being paid?
Oh yeah, Amy, what fund is that coming out of?
The TIF?
Yeah,
the consultant.
Oh, the MS.
I don't think we had money appropriated for that, did we?
We don't have any money appropriated for it. As a matter of fact, they work together and they say on that Lapel Town or lapelindiana.org, they go in there and they say, hey, well, we don't have any money for this. And he says, oh, they conspire. Mind you, the minutes do not read exactly where those funds come from, but it says Bozell and Robertson discuss, or Bozell and Lindsay Washmuth discuss where they could pull that money from and how they can move money around to appropriate the funds to consultants.
So we never had money appropriated for the first
conversation requires copious amounts of alcohol. I'm just saying.
And so this is the reason why maybe we should start dedicating Saturdays. I mean, I talk to Chris every once in a while when we've got issues that come up, and I wait till they get to so major, but maybe I really need to be a little bit more consistent in getting the information out to the people. And what people of the town of Lapel, most of them are pretty aware that I'm active in the politics, but I generally stay only in the county. I never had any intentions on getting involved in the town's business because I do have a practice there.
Yeah.
But I got involved because the water was at potential risk, and that's the only reason why I got involved. This has had nothing to do with personalities. It has nothing to do with any of that. You know, I'm sorry that the facts were the facts, but I had to share them, and that's just how that is.
Yeah.
That's how you'll know me. Every little detail is going to be exposed, and that's what it is. If the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, let's carry on.
Right.
So I can't thank you guys enough. We've learned a lot. Amy, now you have the connections with them. They'll be able to help you a lot more than I can. If it's medical, I'm your gal. If it's political, I can really muddle my way through it. If it has to do with some other things, I'll get you the answers that you need, and we'll get you the resources. Everybody's question's important. So
yeah,
it's been an amazing show. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on what we've done tonight, what we've exposed, and I hope that we continue to meet and carry on this way.
Yeah, I'm definitely down because my regular weekly show is Sunday through Thursday. So
You've got enough on your plate with that.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I normally try to.
Christopher loves making people angry, pissing people off. So this is right.
We noticed that. We noticed that.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got no problem.
Resign. I'm like, oh my God, I won't resign.
So I normally try to be off Friday, Saturday, but Saturday I would be fine with maybe setting something up or whatever. We can talk about that. And see what's going on. So
this is just a crazy busy time as we're moving into an election. That's the thing. So we'll do the best we can.
I misquoted who it was that said where the funds come from. It was Bozell, so Noah Bozell, and Paul Lee went over the budget for possible funds that MS Consultants could be paid out of for services provided to the town. That's April 26th.
And just for the people, when we make errors, we own them. We bring them to you as quickly as we make the errors. We're not afraid to say, I'm sorry.
No, we're not. Absolutely.
That's
transparency. We're human.
You're not going to get us yelling at you because you held us accountable or you questioned what we were doing or saying.
How are we there?
Speak for yourselves. I'm going to get pissy. I'm never wrong.
May not always be right, but I ain't never wrong.
Well, very good. I appreciate it. You two stay here. Don't go anywhere. I'm just gonna put.
Throw me down, please.
Is there? Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you guys have? Anything else you'd like to say before we go?
You know, our upcoming meetings are very important to the town people. You really got to get to these meetings. You've got to hear. I'm going to do the best I can to Facebook Live. I don't know what the new law is, Chris. I think it's starting January 1 that they
No, it'll be July 1st, 2025.
Wow, they've got that long before they go live. Holy cow. Okay, well, I will try to do my best, but I do have some other things to do. If I could hook up with somebody who could carry on with some of those Facebook Lives, but I'll try to do my best to get to some of those meetings. I'm being told I missed a very critical one this week, and I apologize greatly. The one with the Parks Department, it looks like I needed to cover that. I will try to do my best, but I'll tell you, Monday night was very challenging emotionally, physically, and mentally for me. And so I did take that next 2 days off because I knew we were going right back in on Thursday. But I will do my best to try to see what I can do and get more information on that. And we'll just keep moving this forward until we can find a way to communicate better with the town of Lapel.
Yeah, it shouldn't be difficult. If Dax Norton as the MS Consultants can go live at the town council meeting, I tried to record it. Zoom would not let me record it. I go back in and I'm like, why isn't it recorded? Why isn't it recorded? Why isn't it showing? Thankfully, you did yours and I uploaded that to YouTube.
Yeah, because they're so hard to hear. And that's the one thing that the constituents are complaining about. Why don't these elected officials speak up? And clearly we know they can speak up because Chad was pretty clear. You can hear him. So there's no reason why you can't speak up, but there is a lot of mumbling going on, a lot of just speak up. You're here for the people. Don't be afraid to speak. You know, speak.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Only those that are ashamed of what they have to say or what they're saying choose to mumble or choose to keep it low. If you don't want the masses to know what you're doing behind closed doors, you're going to talk like this. But when you want them to know and you're so proud and arrogant and you want to stand there and speak, you're going to make sure that the world hears you, Chad. Like, that's what they do.
Well, thank you to Joe Tompkins for telling me that, because boy, have I taken my hits in Lapel this week.
Oh, I mean,
I used to be like very well received. People like to see me when I was out in town. Now it's pretty chilly. I mean, it's fall, but I probably need a winter coat. I mean, but I'm not doing this other than I don't want that project on our water system.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet you the Lycans and the Rich Wines have 100 acres. They could sell them. So why don't they go there?
Why don't they go sit on their farmland, right?
Right. Well, very good. I appreciate it. Just give me 1 second. Don't go anywhere. I want to say something to you once we go off here. So I'm going to put you guys down here in the duck, and I will see you in just a few moments.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, ma'am. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our special guests, Katherine, Callahan, and Amy. Renee, I want to say thank you to both of them for coming on and talking with us. I am going to get to a couple of these Lapel meetings to see what goes on and to help be a voice of support for the people in the audience. And I'm telling you, this is important, people, because it goes on in your community. It goes on all over the place where people don't realize, and they just don't know because they don't live stream and you don't know what's going on. And all of this stuff is happening where you are. So that's why it's important to get out to these meetings. And if you're busy, you work seconds, you've got kids or whatever, network with people that can go, that can record these meetings and put out with your group or on social media, or someone who can tell you what's going on. It's important to make these little connections. Hell, connect in with us. You know, you're already here watching all the time. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I want to be part of this and coming on. You know, I see the political spotlight as a team effort, and we're all on the same team. So I want to thank both of the women for coming on and talking with us tonight. A big thanks to Kate, as always, for making everything work behind in the duck. The postscript tonight is just teamwork makes the dream work. That's what we need to do. And you know, the team can never be big enough. We're always looking for one more. So we are very thankful that you guys chose to watch us on this Saturday evening. Please help share the message, spread the word, share the show with everyone you know. Please don't forget to hit that like button on the way out. And we will see you guys back here. Don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be talking about Sproles. Sproles. We got a big breakdown of the video. I'm going to talk to Brandon, see if we can't get Brando back on here tomorrow since he's returned from Europe. I think he's got an accent and everything. We'll have to find out how he sounds. I don't know if he's still hungover or not, but thank you guys for everything. Take care. God bless. Have a wonderful evening, and we will look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Goodbye. I'll have to put Brent on there, too.